Madrid in the second leg of the Champions League quarter-final, and we are underway as the ball is played straight back into the feet of Ederson just outside of his area. He puts the long ball forward into the area of Phil Foden. It is headed away and out of play though by Ferland Mendy, and it's going to be a throw-in for Manchester City on the right-hand side, taken quickly by Walker. Haaland takes a touch off his chest but puts it out of play for a goal kick. He's gone down under the challenge from Nacho Fernandez, but a goal kick's going to be the outcome. He was wanting a free kick from near where the corner flag is, but Real Madrid will get things back underway for us. Played short is the goal kick from Luton. He's got three players inside his area for this goal kick. Manchester City playing a very high press, as Valverde's come back to take the goal kick, and he's decided to punt it upfield as far as Akanji, who gives it to Rodri. Rodri's ball over the top is going to be chased down by Haaland, but it's going to roll all the way through to Luton, who comfortably controls the ball. Fernandes and Rudiger both chasing the ball down with Haaland at that point as well. It left Jack Grealish free. If that's something that Manchester City may be able to capitalise on throughout the game. The ball is dropped at his feet of Luton and cleared before Haaland can get there. It's been headed away though by Akanji again, back into Real Madrid's half, and the ball's been forced back from Carvajal all the way back to his goalkeeper. He sent the ball upfield first time. Nervy start from both of these sides. Neither side wanted to get the ball down and just hold on to possession, and at that point Jack Grealish closes down Luton and nearly gets a chance for Manchester City. Luton turns on the ball and eventually clears his lines and somehow wins his side of throw-in just inside their own half on the left-hand side, but a quick press from Jack Grealish caught Luton unaware. He managed to clear his lines. The throw will be taken on the left-hand side by Mendy. Goes central to Camavinga, who goes back to Luton. As Haaland starts his press, the ball is played out onto the right-hand side for Carvajal. First touch brings it inside past Grealish, up towards the halfway line, brought down by Bellingham. Out onto the right-hand side, he manages to find Rodrigo. His first touch pass goes central, but it's dispossessed as Kevin De Bruyne gets the possession back for Manchester City. Out onto the left-hand side now for Vardiol, who twists and turns around Vinicius Jr., but eventually goes back to Ruben Diaz. He gives the ball back to Ederson inside his area. Rodrigo comes short, but Diaz gets the ball, then gives it to Rodrigo just outside the goalkeeper's area, and Diaz then receives the ball off of him. Real Madrid with a high press of their own at the moment, forcing Manchester City to get rid of the ball very quickly. Both sides with absolutely everything thrown at it early on. Long balls forward from either side, but Manchester City now trying to get their foot on the ball and just slow things down. He's out onto the left-hand side. Grealish gets the ball just inside Real Madrid's half by the touchline, brings it inside alongside Carvajal and goes all the way back to Ruben Diaz. Back inside his own half, gives it to Rodri. Goes forward then to Akanji and back to Ruben Diaz again. Akanji seems to be the one that's moving into a midfield role if Manchester City are on the ball inside their own half, and it looks like Manchester City then moves to a back three where Diaz will play in the centre, Vardiol on the left and Kyle Walker out on the right hand side as Walker plays the ball short to Kevin De Bruyne, gets the ball to Rodri. He's got a couple of players in and around him, but Real Madrid get possession back. It's now with Bellingham, turns and takes it into his own half, then plays it back to his captain Nacho Fernandez across to Rudiger. Switches his play onto the left hand side. It's going to be a job for Vinicius Jr. to get there, but instead it's headed back by Walker to the feet of Ederson inside his own half, and Manchester City will regroup and get themselves ready to go again, struggling to really maintain possession when they're in Real Madrid's half, but at the moment Ederson's taken the ball outside of his area and there's 5 Real Madrid players marking out either channels or options that Ederson would normally have to his disposal in regular circumstances. Eventually gives the ball to Akanji and goes back to Ederson again. Out onto the right hand side now for Walker. Walker's up against Vinicius Jr., who thinks he's got himself a throw-in, but it's been given to Manchester City. Walker confidently gains a few yards to take the throw-in down the line, where he's got Phil Foden as an option. Bruyne is more central for him as Akanji drops back into a centre-half role alongside him to offer additional support. Rodrigo is down the line as well as Walker's forced to go all the way back to Ederson from the throw-in inside the 6-yard box. Ederson gives it back to Walker, closed down quickly again. His clearance has been blocked. It's back with Walker again though. He's still got Rodrigo alongside him, and then there's extra support there from Vinicius Jr. and Walker manages to win a throw-in from about equal with his goalkeeper's area. Prepares to go down the line again, but quick to get back and help out is Mendy. Boxing Manchester City inside their own half at the moment are Real Madrid, as Walker goes back this time to Ruben Dias, switches it out onto the left-hand side for Vardiol. His first touch makes it difficult there for Valverde. He's found Grealish moving forward. Grealish into Real Madrid's half now. Pass inside, looks for Bernardo Silva, but it's gone through to Rudiger, who goes back to his goalkeeper and has to clear it quickly as Haaland's on his case. That goes as far as Ruben Dias, who's forced to go all the way back to his goalkeeper again. And Ederson, who's been chased down by Vinicius Jr., has to go back onto the left-hand side for Diaz. He's still under pressure there. Finds the ball down the line as a Manchester City player goes down in front of the dugout. And Vardiol holding on to his back at the moment. The free kick has been given in their favour by the touchline. It's Valverde that's committed the foul. I think he was expecting Vardiol to take a touch, and Vardiol just shepherded it past in the direction of Bernardo Silva. But they've got a free kick inside their own half at the moment of Manchester City, and it's played back short again to Ruben Dias. Back central to Ederson. Now out to Akanji. Closed down by Vinicius Jr. Onto the right hand side for Kyle Walker. Takes it into Real Madrid's half, giving the ball to Foden, and back to Kevin De Bruyne, and then Walker again. And central again to Ruben Dias as Manchester City make their way up towards the centre circle as Real Madrid start to step off. Looks like Bellingham's playing just behind the two strikers, and Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. will be playing as strikers as Haaland gets the ball inside Real Madrid's half. In goes the challenge there from, once again, Fernandes. Wins it back for Real Madrid. And now Carvajal plays it all the way back to Lunin, closed down by Haaland onto the left-hand side for Fernandes again. This pass goes to Camavinga, who goes back to his goalkeeper, and now it's Manchester City's turn for the high press and to put Real Madrid under pressure as Carvajal gets the ball out on the right-hand side. Goes back to Rudiger and can go into his area again, giving it back to his goalkeeper just outside the 6-yard box. Looks to spread the ball out onto the left, but it goes into space and it's met eventually by Kyle Walker. Plays it back central for Ruben Dias. And now to Rodri inside the centre circle. He can venture into Real Madrid's half. Out onto the left-hand side for Jack Grealish, who's in space, brings it more central onto the edge of the area for Rodri, who's under pressure, manages to find Bernardo Silva by the left-hand side. His cross has been blocked. It's back to Silva again, though. He's still got Vardiol alongside him. Pass inside to Rodri. Rodri takes it into the penalty area, lays it back off to Bernardo Silva with the assistance of Carvajal. And it's watched out of play for a throw into Manchester City on the left-hand side. Taken by Silva to Grealish. Now back to Vardiol again. Bypasses Rodri as support and gives it to Ruben Dias. Still inside Real Madrid's half at the moment. Pass goes over to Kyle Walker. Finds Phil Foden on the right hand side by the touchline. Excellent football in the build up. Now Kevin De Bruyne across the face of goal, and Lunin's out to claim the ball before it gets to the feet of Erling Haaland from around about 5 yards out. You'd have expected the City striker to score, but it's a dangerous cross in from Kevin De Bruyne. An excellent work and build up on the right hand side from Manchester City. Ball rolled out now quickly though, onto the right hand side for Valverde. Takes it back into his own half and plays it across to Fernandes. Now to Rudiger just outside the area. Has the support available from Valverde. Onto the left hand side now for Toni Kroos. Kroos to Junior, now to Rodrigo. Junior's held his run and kept himself inside Real Madrid's half as it goes back to Toni Kroos again, sitting in at left back at the moment. Real Madrid still inside their own half. It's switched more central now to the right hand side with Antonio Rudiger. Pass inside puts Camavinga under pressure, but he manages to find Rudiger again. That's Camavinga to Bellingham and back to Rudiger. It's very much a story at the moment. Opening 9 minutes of the game, it's still goalless, but both sides struggling to really do anything in the opposition half. They're allowed to hold on to possession inside their own half. There's no trouble from the opposition. They're making it quite easy for them to be able to play football as Rudiger gets the ball onto the right hand side. Grealish closing down, finds Carvajal in space. This pass goes central to Bellingham. Rodri's back to him again as now the ball is given inside to Valverde. 1-2 between him and Camavinga. He gets the ball on the right hand side as Manchester City seem to be easing off as Real Madrid start to make their way into City's half. Bellingham gets the ball at the centre circle again. Goes short to Kroos. Kroos now to Camavinga. Across to Rudiger. Now to Fernandes. Making his way back up to the halfway line. Fernandes is through ball onto the left hand side. Finds Rodrigo. Rodrigo beats Kyle Walker, giving the ball inside to Mendy. And back to Rodrigo. Now to Vinicius Jr. On the edge of the area. Brings it across now to Carvajal on the right hand side. He has got an option on the overlap if he chooses to use him. He's got it to Valverde, who's quickly given the ball back to Carvajal. Now it's fallen to Camavinga, who's had an effort goalwards from around about 20 yards out, and it's gone comfortably into the hands of Ederson. He dives down to his right hand side. That's a finessed effort, not quite enough curl on it to beat the Manchester City goalkeeper. As Ederson rolls the ball out now to Ruben Diaz. Manchester City back with possession. Ederson gets it back inside his area. Ventures with the ball outside the area, with Real Madrid dangerously close at the moment, hoping there is going to be some sort of change in the setup to Real Madrid if he can urge one of the players to put him under pressure. Instead it's gone to Ruben Diaz, who makes his way towards the halfway line. Just outside the centre circle at the moment. Akanji being marked out of any sort of passing channel from Vinicius Jr. The ball goes back to Guardiola again. Now back to Ruben Diaz. And then Kyle Walker. Pass inside to Akanji. Has space to run into. Takes the ball into Real Madrid's half. Gives it to Phil Foden on the right hand side. Foden looked like he panicked ever so slightly and gives the pass to Vinicius Jr., who takes his ball into Manchester City's half, and he's eventually tackled by Kevin De Bruyne. It's going to be a throw for Real Madrid on the left hand side inside City's half. You're late joining us. 11 minutes gone at the Etihad Stadium. It's City 0, Real Madrid 0 at the moment. As Fernandes goes back into his own half and back to his goalkeeper, brings this to the outside of the area, quickly has to distribute the ball back onto the right hand side as it's closed down by Haaland. His long ball forward, flag has stayed down at the moment as Bellingham's first touch manages to beat Ruben Diaz. He continues with the ball and puts it onto the right hand side for Valverde. His ball into the area, it finds Vinicius Jr. across the face of goal. It's fallen in the end to Rodrigo, whose first effort's blocked. It's fallen back to Rodrigo again, who gives Real Madrid the lead from 7 yards out. Build-up play from Real Madrid, breaking their way into Manchester City's half, onto the right-hand side. Excellent work from Vinicius Jr. to get into the area. The ball across finds Rodrigo. It makes absolutely no sense how Ederson manages to get to the first one, but he can only parry it back into the path of the Real Madrid striker, and Rodrigo on the second attempt puts it into the empty goal. It is Manchester City 0, Real Madrid 1. Just looking at the replay, it was in plenty of space for Jude Bellingham to find his way through, and he was inside his own half at the time of the pass being made. This is going to be onside, and just looking at the second pass, it looks very close, but I think Kyle Walker is keeping Vinicius Jr. onside as well. He takes his ball into the Manchester City area, puts it across the face of goal. Another dangerous pass similar to that of Kevin De Bruyne in the first 5 minutes, and it fell to Rodrigo, who found himself unmarked. The arms then go up from Manchester City players as soon as the ball hits the back of the net, calling for offside. The flag stayed down, correctly so, for the entire of the build-up to that goal, but it is the visitors that strike first, and Real Madrid take a lead into the 13th minute of the quarter-final against the defending Champions League champions and Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, who will get things back underway for us. And quickly goes all the way back to Ederson again. They started the game with the ball and they followed the exact same routine. Then back to the goalkeeper. Ederson puts it onto the left-hand side now for Jack Grealish, who can take this to the edge of the area. Then the ball goes into Guardiola, whose effort's blocked, and it's out of play for the first corner of the afternoon, and it's going to go to Manchester City. And Bernardo Silva was making his way into the area, and it was blocked out by Antonio Rudiger, who will have a history of playing Manchester City from his time at Chelsea. And now Ruben Diaz and Nathan Ake, who've played for Manchester City as a centre-half partnership. It's now Akanji and Diaz that make their way into the area. There's an in-swinging corner from Kevin De Bruyne, makes its way into the Real Madrid box, into the near post, headed away. Lands on top of the net, and a corner has been given to Manchester City. Again, a bit of hesitation from the referee before giving the corner to City, and Kevin De Bruyne will take it again. Another right-footed in-swinging corner as Guardiola stood marking the goalkeeper. Haaland and Bellingham will just receive a talking to from the referee before the whistle is blown. Bit of a battle going on between those two at the moment. Before De Bruyne can put the ball back into the box. Goes in towards goal this time, and it's punched over by Luton, who prepared himself for coming out to claim the cross, but going to put it straight on the goalkeeper. This time the corner's been taken quickly. Short pass goes back towards De Bruyne. It has been punched away though as far as Bernardo Silva on the edge of the area. Chipped in towards Grealish, headed away. Again only as far as the edge of the area, but it's still with a Real Madrid player who tried to make a breakaway. And now there's a chance for Rodrigo on the right hand side. Closed down by Vardiol, makes his way into Manchester City's half, and Man City win themselves a throw-in. It's great work from Vardiol to get back as Real Madrid looked set to break. Throw-in's been taken quickly to Diaz, who goes back to Ederson just outside the 6-yard box, and Ederson now passes it back across to Rodri. Rodri out onto the right hand side for Walker. Now for Akanji. Makes his way into Real Madrid's half. He's got Foden alongside him, forced to go back instead though for Diaz again, who gives it to Rodri and back to Diaz. Now for Kyle Walker up to the halfway line. He's got Bernardo Silva in support, and Bernardo Silva looked like he was coming short for an option, but instead Walker tries to dribble and loses out on possession. Another chance for Real Madrid to break on the left hand side with Rodrigo, but the challenge is won by Rodri. Free kick wanted by Real Madrid for a potential handball, but not given on this occasion as Rodri switches the ball onto the left hand side for Jack Grealish. He's managed to beat his man and get to the ball, brings it back, pass onto the edge of the area for Silva. Silva's cross goes into Haaland and he heads it just over from around about 8 yards out. Jumped a bit too early and he caught the ball with his head on his way back down. Grealish was onside, timed that run really well, and no one was picking up the extra run of Bernardo Silva that when Grealish kept it in play. Carvajal had too much work to do to get back to the Manchester City winger before the cross could come into the box. As soon as it did, Erling Haaland leapt first. Couldn't quite direct his header on target. Goal kick taken from Lunin. Up towards Valverde on the right hand side, headed away by Vardiol again. Brought down by Ruben Diaz, back to the centre circle. A bit more urgency from Manchester City's defenders, trying to find themselves space to move into inside Real Madrid's half as Walker gets the ball off of him and goes back to Ruben Diaz again. Now Vardiol takes it into the opposition half. Quick 1-2 between him and Rodri, gets the ball back and gives it to Grealish by the touchline on the left hand side. Goes down by Camavinga, goes back central again now to Ruben Diaz. Diaz back across to Vardiol. He's still got Grealish by the touchline as Vardiol opts to go central to Rodri. He's closed down and the block's made this time by Toni Kroos. But Manchester City do get the ball back inside Real Madrid's half at the centre circle at the moment with Walker. Walker to De Bruyne. And across then to Rodri. And back to Akanji and then to Kyle Walker again. Manchester City certainly playing as if they've got three centre-halves at the point of them attacking, as Akanji gives the ball to Haaland, who holds this up for Kevin De Bruyne, but his pass doesn't reach the City midfielder, and instead the clearance is made by Real Madrid, and City get it back again with Kyle Walker inside Madrid's half. Gives it to Ruben Diaz, who's under pressure from Bellingham, goes across to Vardiol as Manchester City currently camped inside Real Madrid's half. Vardiol's cross again, this time pass to Kyle Walker. And now to Foden, to Akanji, into the box. Kevin De Bruyne plays it across, it's blocked and punched out. It's only gone as far as Bernardo Silva, who will block the clearance, then head it back in towards the middle. Headed goalwards by Erling Haaland. It's hit the crossbar and it's fallen to the feet of Silva, who can't direct it goalwards. I don't think Silva knew anything about the ball falling back to him. He was onside as the ball ricocheted back off the crossbar. Haaland headed it goalwards. It was pushed away originally by Lunin. Real Madrid couldn't clear their lines and the cross goes in. Haaland this time with a looping header. It goes over the Madrid goalkeeper, hits off the crossbar, and as it falls to the feet of Silva, it just bounces off his shin and goes out of play for a goal kick to Real Madrid. I don't think Bernardo Silva knew anything of the ball falling to him. He couldn't quite get his feet directing it goalwards. He knows that's a missed opportunity, and City will try and build on this press as Lunin's goal kick this time goes up towards the halfway line, headed away by Vardiol towards Rodri, won by Carvajal. Akanji wins the ball back though for Manchester City, and Rodri plays it across to Walker. Inside Real Madrid's half, gives it to Rodri this time, and back to Diaz, now across to Vardiol. Takes it back into his own half and gives it to Ruben Diaz inside the centre circle. Very compact to the three centre-halves when City are playing with Vardiol, Walker and Diaz as the three centre-halves. When they're in possession and pushing forward, it allows Akanji maybe to be an additional midfield support for City. Real Madrid are very much overloading the midfield at the moment as that pass to Haaland as Fernandes kind of picks his pocket, gets the ball back. gives it onto the right hand side for Valverde, whose pass across nearly loses out on possession for Madrid as they give it now to Jude Bellingham, who's closed down by multiple City players, but he still manages to get the pass off to Toni Kroos. Now onto the left hand side for Rodrigo, and back this time for Mendy, who goes back to his goalkeeper inside the area at the moment. Luning's pass now out onto the right hand side, brought down by Carvajal, tries to beat his man, but the challenge goes in again from Akanji, and he has to get there first, but his clearance only goes through to Lunin. Keeps the ball at his feet just outside the 6-yard box, and then goes across to Rudiger. Rudiger's pass central is held up inside Real Madrid's half at the moment by Bellingham. His pass manages to find Kroos, but it's been brought back for a free kick to Real Madrid, much to the disappointment of multiple Real Madrid players who felt that there was an advantage that could have been played. About halfway between the halfway line and the goalkeeper's area, we are going to have a Real Madrid free kick. And the pass has been made out to Bellingham outside of the foot pass, looks for Vinicius Jr., but the pass gets all the way through to Kyle Walker, who beats him to the ball, goes back to his goalkeeper, gets the ball back, then to Akanji, now to Rodri, and back to Walker again, who's under pressure. And Akanji and Rodri continue the triangle passes from Manchester City. Eventually Edison gets the ball off of them and finds the ball out to Vardiol. Pass inside now to Rodri, who's got space to move into and can venture into Real Madrid's half. Inside the centre circle, Rodri onto the right hand side now for Foden. Foden brings it in onto his left foot, back to Rodri again on the edge of the area. Rodri switches this to Jack Grealish just outside the area on the left hand side. He's got Carvajal alongside him. Puts it onto his right foot, onto the edge of the area for Rodri. Pass in from Bernardo Silva, finds Foden. Inside the area, back to Bernardo Silva. Onto the edge of the area now to Vardiol, whose pass goes wayward, and it's picked up again by Real Madrid's defence, and the pass is made out to Camavinga, who is under pressure from Manchester City's high press, and the challenge goes in from Silva, and a free kick is going to be given by the touchline on the right hand side to Real Madrid. Camavinga will just slow things down for Madrid at the moment. They have the lead. It's passed to Rudiger, then to Camavinga, and back to Carvajal. Carvajal to Bellingham. Onto the right hand side now for Valverde, and then inside to Kroos. And across to Rudiger, and then to Kroos again. Kroos plays it central to Camavinga again, who goes back to his goalkeeper. And out onto the right hand side for Rudiger. By the touchline, he almost allows the ball to go out of play before his pass forward to Jude Bellingham. Nearly takes it into Manchester City's half, but Silva's there almost to win it back, and Vardiol, as the ball ricochets off of him, falls to Carvajal. Carvajal's nearly taken it out of play himself, but his clearance is rushed, and it leads to Manchester City getting the ball back only momentarily, though. Eventually Vinicius Jr. will get there, and Kyle Walker will beat Rodrigo to the ball. And his clearance goes to Akanji, makes his way up to the halfway line. Akanji now taking the ball deep into Real Madrid's half. He wasn't challenged for a large portion of it, but Toni Kroos does get back eventually. And Madrid win the ball back just outside their own area at the moment. Fernandes gets the ball off of him, finds Bellingham. Bellingham onto the left hand side for Vinicius Jr. His long ball forward is going to be chased down by Carvajal. It's forced Edison to clear the ball. He was trying to wait for the ball to get into his area, but it wasn't going to do so. As now it's with Rodri, and a chance for Vinicius Jr. to take the ball into Manchester City's half. His pass has been blocked. It's fallen to Carvajal. His effort's been blocked, and it's fallen in the end to the edge of the area, while Valverde, from some 40 yards out, will send the ball over, and it's going to be a Manchester City goal kick. Making their way into Manchester City's half. It fell fortunately to Carvajal on the edge of the area, and then fell quite nicely to Valverde, who couldn't direct his effort on target from quite a distance. And Manchester City have themselves a goal kick. Edison takes this to Walker on the right hand side. Walker's passed down the line for Foden. He goes down under the challenge and wins a free kick just inside his own half. Gives this free kick to Ruben Diaz as he makes his way forward, back down the right-hand side. Not really been able to get much into the game as Phil Foden so far in the opening half of the first half. As the pass is made to Guardiola. Now to Rodri, takes it into the opposition half at the centre circle. He's still got some options available for him as Real Madrid massively outnumbering Manchester City inside their own half. Foden gets the ball on the right-hand side. One back still for Madrid at the moment as the pass inside to Walker. Goes central to Rodri again. Surrounded by 3 Real Madrid players. It's quite an enclosed area as Real Madrid are putting City under a lot of pressure while they are in possession. As Akanji gets the ball inside Madrid's half. Now across to Guardiola again. Bernardo Silva looks like he's trying to create some space on the edge of the area, and Real Madrid allowing him to do it while cutting out the channel to get the ball to him. So the pass now finds Ruben Diaz just outside the centre circle. Over to Kevin De Bruyne and back to Kyle Walker again. Just pass across to Guardiola now for Bernardo Silva. Silva finds Grealish on the edge of the area. Grealish takes it towards the area. Takes it into the area now. Couple of dribbles into the area. Gives it to Kevin De Bruyne, whose effort goes goalwards, and it's held by Luton. I think the ball was going wide anyway, but the Real Madrid goalkeeper wanted to be sure. It's Grealish with quick footwork. Couldn't quite get the ball away from Rudiger. He was putting him under the pressure. And the clearance from Luton. Looks for Valverde again. Flicks this on in the direction of Vinicius Jr. The clearance has been made by Diaz. Out onto the left-hand side for Jack Grealish, who's gone down inside Madrid's half and wins a free kick. Taken quickly to Rodri. City are allowed to progress with the ball. Gives it to Kevin De Bruyne now, who's got space on the edge of the area. A chance for Kevin De Bruyne. Sends it goalwards and it's pushed wide by Luton. It's going to be another Manchester City corner. The quick free kick caught Real Madrid unaware and nearly gave Manchester City an opening. You don't want to leave Kevin De Bruyne from around about 20 yards out with an open for goal. He managed to direct it goalwards and Luton was equal to it on this occasion, but you give him too many chances and it's a different story. City continued with the free kick, but that was whilst Real Madrid had a player down. And right now Real Madrid are furious with the referee's decision to allow the free kick to be taken quickly. As Kevin De Bruyne goes across for another right-footed in-swinging corner. And it's Dani Carvajal that is back to his feet now, making his way back into his area. He was the one that committed the foul on Jack Grealish. As Diaz and Akanji make their way into the area again, Foden is the short option. Goes in towards the middle again, puts it onto the goalkeeper who's punched it away. Headed on this time by Rodrigo. Falls to Jack Grealish inside the area. Looks for Phil Foden. He's found Phil Foden, who gives it to Kevin De Bruyne. Back onto the edge of the area now for Rodri. Rodri's cross goes in towards the back post. Headed back across the face of goal, and there's no Manchester City players gambling. Haaland did well to direct it across the face of goal. And the closest player they got was Josko Guardiola, who wasn't there to gamble on the open opportunity. Went into the arms of Luton. Rolls it out now to Bellingham. Bellingham onto the left-hand side for Mendy. Now to Toni Kroos. Space to move forward, but City quick to close him down as soon as he starts to make that move forward. As goes inside to Camavinga, looks for Bellingham on the left-hand side. Pass is too heavy and it's going to be a throw into City inside Real Madrid's half. Taken short to Kyle Walker. Walker's pass again to Rodri. Now into Real Madrid's half again go Manchester City. Across to Ruben Diaz. Diaz across to Guardiola. Guardiola back again to Rodri, who's in space. Pass inside to Akanji. The challenge is won by Kroos. It's gone back to Ruben Diaz, and the referee's allowed play to continue with Manchester City. And it goes across to Kyle Walker now onto the right hand side for Phil Foden. Onto his left foot. Back inside to Rodri again. Now onto the right hand side for Walker. Walker gets the ball back. Pass out wide for Kevin De Bruyne, and then a Walker overlap continues as Akanji gets the ball on the edge of the area. Challenge won by Bellingham, and it's fallen to Rodrigo. Rodrigo finds Vinicius Jr. He's got support there as Camavinga's starting to make his way forward. There is also support at the back post with Valverde. Valverde gets the ball just inside the area for Real Madrid. It's closed down quickly by Guardiola. He sends it goalwards, headed away this time by Ruben Diaz. Back to the edge of the area, and he's forced to go back to Carvajal, who goes now to Rudiger. And then across to Fernandez. Fernandez now to Mendy. Back inside. Pass to Kroos. Now back to Rudiger again. Just inside Manchester City's half. Rudiger gives the ball now to Rodrigo. Rodrigo's got space to move forward with the ball and gives it to Jude Bellingham. Very dangerous position at the moment for Real Madrid as Vinicius Junior gets it on the left hand side. Back to Bellingham again and back to Junior. And then across to Cruz. Cruz inside to Camavinga and back to Toni Cruz. Just inside Manchester City's half. Nice football again from Real Madrid as Rudiger gets the ball back and he's gone all the way back to his goalkeeper as now Man City will start to apply that pressure to their visitors. One to the left hand side, headed on by Mendy. It's going to be chased down by Jude Bellingham, who may have been in an offside position, but Walker gets there first anyway and goes central to Ruben Diaz. Now to Vardiol. Vardiol makes his way up to the halfway line and plays the ball onto the left hand side now for Jack Grealish. On the edge of the area, Grealish puts it onto his right foot, brings it onto his left into the area. He's still closed down by Carvajal. Has options on the edge of the area, gives it to Vardiol, now to Rodri, crossing towards the back post, headed away by Mendy. It's going to be chased down though by Akanji, gives the ball back to Phil Foden. Still with Manchester City in the ascendancy at the moment. It goes back to Kevin De Bruyne, across to Rodri on the edge of the area. It's in shooting distance for him, but he's laid this off instead to Jack Grealish, who might fancy his own chances as he takes it into the area, sends it goalwards. I believe that took a deflection on its way out. A goal kick has been given, and Jack Grealish also feels that that should have been a corner. And I think the referee's now changed his mind and decided to give it as a corner. I think that's the right decision as Grealish's effort takes a deflection of Carvajal and goes out of play. He has eventually given it in Man City's favour. This is their 5th corner of the first half. And Kevin De Bruyne will now take an out-swinging corner as Diaz and Akanji make their way into the area. Rodri's in there as well. Vardiol, Haaland all making presence felt. There's multiple players lurking on the edge of the area. Goes in towards the near post, headed as far as the edge of the area, flicked on by Carvajal as far as Vinicius Junior, then to Rodrigo, back to Vinicius Junior, who switches this onto the right hand side for Jude Bellingham. Gets the ball caught up in his feet but keeps possession. He goes down under the challenge of Vardiol. Wants a free kick, nothing given as Grealish creates a break now for Manchester City as Phil Foden gets the ball onto the right hand side for Kevin De Bruyne, onto the edge of the area. Still Manchester City with a chance with Rodri. Back to De Bruyne again on the edge of the area to Foden, but the challenge goes in and eventually it's cleared by Mendy. As far as Walker at the halfway line, who puts it back into Real Madrid's half, and Rodri gets there first. Lays this ball off for Foden onto the edge of the area. Chance for Manchester City, and the effort goes just over by Kevin De Bruyne. It's going to be a goal kick to Real Madrid. He put it onto his left foot, his unfavoured foot. Most of his goals tend to come from right-footed efforts. But Rodri beat Mendy to the ball on that right-hand side for City. De Bruyne couldn't keep his shot down. 32 minutes gone at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 0, Real Madrid 1. Rodrigo's goal in the 12th minute separating these two sides, and the goal kick's been taken by Valverde. It's been blocked out though by Walker, who gets it back from Manchester City into Real Madrid's half. Now across to Vardiol, who goes back this time to Akanji. Akanji now to Diaz. Diaz to Walker. Walker to Foden by the touchline. Goes back to Walker again. Now more central to Akanji. Bernardo Silva making a bit of a run in there as Rodrigo gets the ball for a moment, and then Rodri gets the ball off of him. And then Real Madrid win it back again at the back with Fernandes intercepting the pass that was destined for Haaland. And Real Madrid just struggling to clear the lines at the moment as Akanji wins it back on the right hand side by the touchline, gets the cross in. It's been cleared in the end by Valverde, and it's going to be another corner to Manchester City. Real Madrid, when they are getting the ball back, City's high press is not allowing them to clear the lines. On that occasion there was Valverde, there was Rodrigo, there was Fernandes, all trying to clutch again the ball away, but they could get a good clearance. That would play for a corner. An out-swinging corner to be taken, this time by Kevin De Bruyne. He has got options in the middle again. It's the usual culprits. Vardiol's in there, Akanji goes towards the near post, and it's put in towards the back post by a deflection. Bellingham and Haaland both go up for the ball. It's taken a bounce and it's been cleared by Toni Kroos into Manchester City's half as Real Madrid will now regroup. Kyle Walker gets the ball back. Out to Phil Foden on the right hand side. Now to Kevin De Bruyne. Back to Foden. Foden now back to Walker. Still Manchester City inside Real Madrid's half. Back to Foden again on the left-hand side. Plays it inside to Akanji, looks for the pass to Kevin De Bruyne, who's managed to keep that in play, and a free kick has been given to Real Madrid. De Bruyne feels that that was just a battle between the two shoulders of him and Kroos. The referee feels that maybe it was a nudge in the back of the experienced midfielder as Kroos went down to the floor. Real Madrid get a free kick inside their own area. I'll just give them a chance to take a moment before they can take this free kick. Real Madrid will clear their area. It's interesting to see that Luning's going to be taking the free kick from about equal with where the goal kick position usually is, but he won't be taking goal kicks. At the moment it's been Valverde that takes those. Headed away this time by Ruben Diaz towards the halfway line. Flicked on by Kevin De Bruyne as far as Erling Haaland, who beats his man. He's got Jack Grealish on the left-hand side. He's set Jack Grealish away, takes it into the area. Chance for Jack Grealish. He's taken a deflection. It hits the side netting. Rudiger gets across very quickly and does well. And a break for Manchester City almost gives them the equalising goal as Bernardo Silva goes across to take the corner quickly. Plays it short to Kevin De Bruyne on the edge of the area. More central now for Rodri. Back to De Bruyne. His cross goes into the hands of Lunin, who grasps the ball gratefully and brings it in. Great breakaway from Haaland to find Jack Grealish, and Rudiger's done well to get himself across as Grealish unleashes the effort. Only about 10 yards out, but Rudiger manages to direct it away from goal. Free kick now taken shortly to Rudiger, whose long ball forward has been cut out again by Manchester City. Real Madrid forced to play these long passes, and City are just picking up the pieces at the moment. They're not creating too much inside Real Madrid's half, but it seems like Madrid at the moment more than content with the one-goal lead, just to sit back and let City try and bring the game to them. As Rodrigo now tries to set Vinicius Junior forward. But Kanji's equal to it and goes back to Edison again. Manchester City cut out those chances, and whilst Rodrigo was putting the pressure on Manchester City's defence, only one Real Madrid player apart from him was in the air in the Manchester City half, while City had 4 players back. As Grealish now tries to beat Carvajal, goes down under the challenge and wins a free kick, and this is where we'll see our first yellow card of the afternoon, and it has gone to the Real Madrid fullback Dani Carvajal, who just pulls on the shirt of Jack Grealish, who makes his way past the Madrid fullback in a very dangerous position. Manchester City will have a free kick, and should Real Madrid get through to the semi-finals of the Champions League, Dani Carvajal will not be able to play. That yellow card will rule him out of the next match. Phil Foden and Kevin De Bruyne both stood over this free kick as Guardiola, Haaland all stood in the area at the moment. Diaz makes his way in there, as does Akanji. There's also Rodri making his way into the box. Everyone into the area for Real Madrid, not taking any chances defensively, as Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior both stood over the wall at the moment as the free kick. As we wait for the whistle to be blown on the edge of the area, we've got Jack Grealish. Cross comes in from Kevin De Bruyne, headed away to the edge of the area, headed back into the area, and now the flag goes up for offside against Josko Guardiola. The free kick will be given to Real Madrid. When the free kick was taken, Guardiola and I think it was Akanji as well, both in offside positions, both of which contributed to the result of the free kick. And it's now with Toni Kroos, who switches this across, but it's been intercepted by Guardiola again. Chests it down though, strangely enough. Can't quite get it to Bernardo Silva, and Real Madrid, as quickly as they've won possession back, have lost it. As now Jack Grealish finds Bernardo Silva, and a free kick has been given to Manchester City. In fact, the referee's waved on advantage. Bernardo Silva for a moment looked like he was wanting the free kick, but advantage was given to Manchester City. There was no whistle blown, just looked like the signal had been given at that point as Grealish laid the ball off to Bernardo Silva on the left-hand side. Real Madrid get the ball back on their left-hand side now, and will once again work tirelessly to try and clear the lines as Haaland, with a quick close down, forces a throw into Real Madrid by the corner flag. He gets a touch on Lunin's clearance. Closed down very quickly. And deep inside their own half, on the left hand side, Real Madrid will have themselves a throw in as we enter into the final 5 minutes of regular time. Going taken by Mendy to Cruz, who's still under pressure from Haaland. Facing his own goal at the moment, goes central to Fernandes, whose clearance goes out of play. And now from a very similar sort of position on the edge of the goalkeeper's area, it will be a throw into Manchester City on their right-hand side. Walker takes this. Throws it back to Akanji, now to Ruben Diaz, across to Vardiol in the centre circle inside Real Madrid's half. Back across to Akanji. Now finds Phil Foden by the touchline. He's closed down by Mendy again. Goes back to Kyle Walker. Walker now to Rodri. Rodri's pass goes back. Now with Vardiol. Vardiol fakes the pass to Jack Grealish and it catches a couple of Real Madrid players out. It allows him to gain a few more yards before making the eventual pass to Jack Grealish. He's back by the touchline. Up against at the moment Valverde and Camavinga. Pass to Vardiol, who tries to thread the ball back through to him, but Real Madrid equal to it again. Now's a chance for Rodrigo, but De Bruyne wins the ball back for Manchester City. Rodrigo's gone down to the floor holding onto his leg, but City still with a chance. Foden gives it to Akanji on the edge of the area, loses out on position to Camavinga, and then the clearance is made by Nacho Fernandes. Going to be chased down by Vinicius Jr., who wants a throw in. It's not going to be given, and City will try and take this quickly, but this is where the referee will call a halt to things. While Rodrigo's down on the floor, I think he's currently holding his rib area. I'm just looking at the replay to see what happens. I think it's the collision between him and Kevin De Bruyne. The Manchester City midfielder wins the ball, but I think it's just a collision that follows. Might just knock the wind out of Rodrigo. He's looking up to have been booked for a late challenge on Jack Grealish. Nearly gave his side free kick to defend in that occasion, but Rodrigo was back to his feet and giving some words in the direction of Jack Grealish, getting a bit more heated at the moment. He's down on the floor receiving physio attention. A couple of options that could be available for Real Madrid on the bench should they need to make this change, but they'll not want to do one just before half time, especially with how well the side is set up defensively thus far. Still questions raised as to Manchester City defending. It's not very often they do get caught out, but by that long ball through to Jude Bellingham, they really should have handled it better. And then losing the man inside the area, somebody with the attacking threat of Rodrigo. They know what Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. are capable of. It's an attacking duo, and made Man City pay a very dear price. Rodrigo is back up to his feet and he is leaving the field with the physio. Looks set to carry on. As the throw-in is taken. Once again from City, now across to Vardiol. Vardiol finds Jack Grealish by the touchline on the left-hand side. Brings it in a bit more central whilst he's got Valverde currently stepping away from him. Vardiol is still an option as Grealish manages to bypass Vardiol and gives the ball to Rodri. Lined up onto the edge of the area now for Kyle Walker, switches it across to Phil Foden. Phil Foden on the right hand side, back to Walker again, turns on the ball and gives it to Rodri, who's under pressure from Bellingham. Goes back to Walker again, deep inside Real Madrid's half, now to Vardiol, and now Jack Grealish. Grealish finds Silva on the edge of the area. Silva back across to Rodri. Now to Walker, and back to Rodri again. Rodri and Akanji with a quick 1-2, but the ball's gone back to Ruben Diaz now. Manchester City quite deep inside Real Madrid's half, just looking for that break, and this might be it with Akanji, who's looking for Bernardo Silva. Instead gives it to Grealish, who's taking the ball into the area onto his left foot, dribbles the ball further into the area, holds the ball up onto his right foot, gives it back onto the edge of the area now for Vardiol, and now to Walker, now to Kevin De Bruyne. Cross to Phil Foden onto his left foot. Cross goes in towards the middle. It's headed away by Carvajal before it gets to Bernardo Silva. It's going to be a 8th corner of the first half to Manchester City, which proves just how dominant they have been since going a goal behind. And 7 of those corners have come since they went a goal behind. And De Bruyne goes across to take the in-swinging corner again. Mixed things up so far. A couple of short corners, one directed immediately at Lunin's goal, and some into the box that's caused Madrid some defensive headaches. This one goes in towards the back post. It's pushed away. It was actually dipping into the goal at the back post, and it's pushed away by Lunin, and it's going to be another corner to Manchester City. Kevin De Bruyne fancies his chances and feels like there's a chance to be taken here with the Real Madrid goalkeeper. And the ball nearly drops in at the back post as De Bruyne goes over to take the ball and the corner on the opposite side. Foden's taken the ball away from him, going to put an in-swinging corner in himself towards the near post. Has been headed away, back in the direction of Foden, who stops it from going out of play and goes central to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva lines things up more central, out onto the left-hand side for Grealish in plenty of space. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Grealish takes it into the area, puts it onto his right foot. Still options available as he gives it to Silva. Weak cross from Silva, falls to the edge of the area to Phil Foden, whose effort can't be kept down, and it's going to be a goal kick to Real Madrid again. Manchester City just can't seem to get enough shots on target at the moment to really trouble this Real Madrid side. They've had the lion's share of the possession. They've played with the ball the majority of the time inside Real Madrid's half. But the one statistic that is going to count when the full-time whistle goes is goals, and that is currently in favour of the visitors, who look to regain their title for an unchallenged 15th time. Taken by Luton, headed away by Diaz, brought down by Cruz. Now Camavinga goes back to Rudiger, goes all the way back to Luton again. Closed down by Haaland. He's puts onto the left-hand side, puts Walker under pressure. It's taken a bounce past Walker. And Vinicius Jr. goes into the challenge this time with Walker and goes down and wins a free kick inside Manchester City's half. Very similar to that Real Madrid won a free kick inside their own area earlier on when Kevin De Bruyne and Toni Kroos went into the challenge. This time it's Walker and Vinicius Jr. that go into it. And this is going to be a last chance for Real Madrid before the half-time whistle goes. It might really change the tone in which Pep Guardiola delivers his half-time team talk should Real Madrid get themselves a second goal. He struggled up against Carlo Ancelotti as Pep Guardiola. The 8th meeting between the two managers, and he only got his first win a couple of years ago, and these sides have faced for now 4 of the last 5 years in the Champions League. The free kick is blocked, and a chance for Man City to break now as Phil Foden makes his way forward, finds the overlapping run of Kevin De Bruyne on the right hand side, quick to get back on Real Madrid, and his cross into the box has been cleared by Bellingham, headed away by Akanji. And now the half-time whistle goes at the Etihad Stadium. We are halfway through a thriller, and as it stands, it is Los Blancos that make the way to the semi-final of the Champions League. this historic fixture between Manchester City and Real Madrid. The hosts trail by a goal to nil on the night, trail 4-3 on aggregate, and it is Real Madrid that will get things underway for us to set things off on this second half. And there's going to be, on the referee's whistle, Rodrigo that does just that, and he plays the ball immediately all the way back to Fernandes, who goes out onto the left hand side in search of Vinicius Jr., but it's gone all the way through to Edison, who takes the ball into his area and then picks up the ball just to calm things down for City as they start to get things back underway. Despite the dominance of the first half, it is Real Madrid that take the lead into the second half, which I'm sure Pep Guardiola will have made more than clear throughout the course of the half-time team talk. The side have been dominant, just can't quite seem to find that goal to really elevate them to the next level. They need 2 to make it through. 1 will see us into extra time, and a goal for Real Madrid may well see Manchester City's defence brought to an end. On the edge of the area, Kanji gets the ball, gives it to Rodri, onto the left hand side now for Grealish. Grealish by the touchline manages to find some space. He goes up against Carvajal, brings it inside onto his right foot. His pass has been blocked. Now back to Rodri, now back to Grealish in the area. Grealish has got Bernardo Silva alongside him, gives it to Silva. Silva's crossing towards the back post, has been headed away. It's fallen to Kevin De Bruyne, though, still inside the area at the moment. It's been cleared by Rudiger, and it's out of play for a corner on the right hand side for Manchester City. They've started the second half just down the end of the first, as Phil Foden goes across to take the left-footed in-swinging corner. Everyone back again for Real Madrid, who, since having the goal, haven't really managed to get much possession at all, even in Manchester City's half. They've struggled to clear their lines as well. Foden goes in towards the back post. It's punched away by Lunin as far as the edge of the area. Sent back goalwards, saved this time by Lunin. Back onto the left-hand side now with Rodri. Rodri brings it back to Jack Grealish. Got Vardiol as an option, trying to make a run into the box for him. He's closed down by Mendy still. Grealish goes back to Silva. Now to Rodri. Now back to Kyle Walker. Walker onto the right-hand side for Foden, who's beaten out to the ball by Carvajal. Carvajal finds the run down the left-hand side, this time for Vinicius Jr. Goes up against Kyle Walker, just holds up play slightly. Gets the ball deep inside Man City's half and goes back to Toni Kroos. Just inside City's half at the moment. Kroos goes central to Camavinga and then goes back to Mendy. Gives the ball to Fernandes, who goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. Madrid keep possession almost momentarily as that long ball forward towards Bellingham has been headed away by Diaz. We're in the middle of the park though by Carvajal again, as Man City are calling for urgency defensively. Into the midfield to help out. Keeping hold on to possession as Fernandes gets the ball across to Kroos on the left hand side. His pass is too heavy for Mendy, and now just in front of the dugout there's a throw in on the right hand side for City. Taken by Walker, down the line to be closed down by Haaland. He gets there first. Plays this off for Foden. Still by the touchline. Goes to Rodri now, more central. Across to Vardiol. Vardiol now to De Bruyne, on to the left hand side for Jack Grealish. Then finds the run of Bernardo Silva in towards the back post, but it's beaten everybody. There's going to be a chance for Mendy to clear his lines, but he's got time to take a touch. Gives it for Vinicius Jr., who's come short for the ball. Now back to Toni Kroos again. Inside for Camavinga, but again his pass is too heavy for Mendy, who can't get to the ball, and Walker's throwing this time goes all the way through to Haaland, who's pushed slightly off balance. His first touch takes it out of play for a goal kick now to Real Madrid, who will now take their time in possession. This press from Manchester City really is cutting out all these channels from Madrid and forcing them into almost panicked clearances that's gifting City possession back almost too easily. This time the goal kick's taken to Jude Bellingham inside his own half. Excellent first touch from him, surrounded by multiple Man City players. Out to the right hand side for Carvajal. His ball forward is intercepted by Vardiol. This touch is too heavy and Real Madrid win possession back with Vinicius Jr., who looks again for Jude Bellingham. It's been cleared as far as Rodrigo. Rodrigo brings it inside onto his right foot and his effort goes over. It's going to be a Manchester City goal kick. And whilst Real Madrid were making their way forward in numbers, Rodrigo felt that the ball had set up quite nicely for him as he dribbled it inside. Around about 25 yards out, couldn't quite do anything with it though. And the ball goes to Walker on the right hand side. Now to Foden and Rodri. Back to Walker again. We'll just have a break in play as there's a second ball on the pitch. The referee will drop the ball again for Kyle Walker once that's been dealt with. Walker, who gets the ball, goes back central again now to Ruben Diaz. Now to Akanji. At the halfway line, back to Diaz again. Across to Vardiol. Now to Rodri. Rodri onto the left hand side for Jack Grealish. And pressure from Carvajal, goes back to Vardiol again. Now manages to find Bernardo Silva. Silva dribbles it inside multiple Madrid players and then gives it to Grealish on the left hand side. Back to Bernardo Silva in the area. Chips in towards the back post, but not enough on it, and it's caught by Lunin, who's quickly looking for an outlet. Didn't have one available, so just slows things down slightly. Flag did stay down, and rightly so, as Silva made his way through. That's back to Bellingham. Bellingham twists and turns and finds the ball through to Camavinga, but Kevin De Bruyne is there to win the ball back from Manchester City. Camavinga wants a free kick. Nothing's going to be given as De Bruyne makes his way into Real Madrid's half. Looks for the through ball there to Erling Haaland. There's a chance for an own goal here. It's dribbled around his own goalkeeper in the end by Fernandes, but he clears the ball off the line before Haaland can get there. The ball was going all the way through to Lunin. I'm not sure if he didn't hear the call from his goalkeeper, but he managed to dribble it round him and then clears the ball off the line, so it's going to be another corner to Manchester City. Real Madrid just forcing themselves into unnecessary errors. The goalkeeper was always getting there ahead of Haaland, but it makes things difficult as Kevin De Bruyne looked like he'd reached into second gear. He's now going to have an in-swinging corner to take. He's going to have to wait a minute whilst once again there's going to be conversation from the referee, this time between Ruben Diaz and Nacho Fernandes. Diaz has stood in and around the Real Madrid goalkeeper. I've seen one or two of these corners from Kevin De Bruyne already in the first half. Going towards the back post. Now another chance to do so now on the referee's whistle. This time goes short to Jack Grealish, gets the ball back from him. Cross this time goes in towards the back post, headed away by Lunin. Falls to Foden, effort goes goalwards, but it's weak and it's caught by Lunin once again. But this time, instead of holding on to the ball for a while, decides to distribute it quite quickly. Back out onto the right hand side for Carvajal. And this time the challenge goes in from Bernardo Silva, and it's fallen to Fernandes. There's a chance now for Real Madrid to break. Advantage has been given. Now it's with Valverde. It's the ball back to Fernandes. And then Manchester City win it back quite quickly. It's with Rodri on the right hand side. He's got space to move into. He's got Valverde alongside him, who's gone in for the challenge. Completely missed the ball. Wants a throw in, and the throw in is going to be given. Looked like it may have been just he'd slid himself in, and Rodri couldn't quite get there in time. Tripped over the player that was already on the floor. And now challengers are quite rash and starting to make their way in, as now Walker's going to be in a foot race alongside Vinicius Junior. He's going to have a job to keep this out of play, and he's watched it out of play and wins his side a goal kick after the through ball from Rodrigo. Kyle Walker currently matching both wingers from Real Madrid. They've opted to alternate throughout the course of the first half. He's matching them both stride for stride as it stands. Jack Grealish gets the ball on the left hand side by the touchline. Goes back now to Vardiol. Back to Grealish. That's Kevin De Bruyne, and back to Grealish again. Now to Rodri. Across to Akanji. Sets himself up on the edge of the area, gives the ball back to Rodri. Rodri now finds Grealish on the edge of the area. Up against Valverde, manages to beat him, puts the cross in, but Valverde does well to recover. It's going to be another corner to Manchester City. Time out on the left hand side. It's going to be another corner to be taken by Kevin De Bruyne. In swinger on its way. Again, players moving forward from the back. You've got Kanji, you've got Diaz, Guardiola all making their way into the area. Foden is the short option at the near post. Goes in towards the middle. Headed back in by Vardiol. Headed away though by Camavinga. Only as far as the edge of the area where it's brought down by Bellingham. He plays it onto the left hand side for Cruz. As now we have a stop in play due to a Real Madrid player down in the area. It was Mendy that's gone down holding on to his jaw. But because his arm was round his head, the referees had to stop play. Looking at the replay to see what happened with Mendy as it's been headed away by Camavinga. I'm not quite sure where the incident may have happened for Mendy, as he's gone up with Diaz, and yeah, Diaz has actually caught him with the elbow. Nothing intentional. It's going to be given as stop in play before we get things back underway for us. Just inside the area, Real Madrid will get things underway when the referee allows them to do so. It's going to be Fernandes that does this. Cross to Rudiger. Rudiger's clearance makes its way all the way through now to Guardiola. The leap was made there by Valverde, who wanted a free kick, but it's not been given. Now Akanji gets the ball inside the centre circle, goes back into his own half to Ruben Diaz. Now back across to Kyle Walker again. Walker goes back across to Ruben Diaz. Ventures into Real Madrid's half. Diaz now onto the left hand side for Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish brings it in onto his right foot. And brings it back to Kevin De Bruyne. Now Akanji. Across to Vardiol. Now to Rodri. Rodri up against Camavinga again. That's Kyle Walker. And Phil Foden. Phil Foden back in the middle to Rodri and then to Vardiol. Gets it across to Ruben Diaz. Manchester City just holding on to possession inside Real Madrid's half, just trying to keep options open, looking for those chances to get the ball into the box, but there aren't too many presenting themselves at the moment to the hosts. So Kevin De Bruyne gets the ball just outside the centre circle inside Real Madrid's half. Switches the ball out right to Bernardo Silva. Excellent first touch from him, but he is under pressure by Mendy. Back onto the edge of the area now for Rodri. Dribbles this into the area and lays it back to Bernardo Silva again. He goes back to Ruben Diaz, and now space is opening up for City as Real Madrid are forced just outside of their area. Is every one of the Real Madrid players. No player is further up than the edge of the area. And just as Man City got it on the right hand side outside the area with Bernardo Silva, then every Real Madrid player was inside the area. The cross comes in now from Kyle Walker. It's been headed away. It's fallen to Akanji, who sends it just over. We're going to have a goal kick now to Real Madrid from around about 17 yards out. Akanji brought the ball down nicely but couldn't direct it goalwards. May have just caught the outside of his boot as it sailed over the bar. Real Madrid giving Manchester City a lot of respect at the moment. Out on the left hand side, Fernandez's clearance goes out of play and it's a throw into Man City, taken quickly by Silva. It's now with Rodri. Brings it onto his left foot. His effort's been blocked by Kevin De Bruyne. It's fallen to Vinicius Jr. Manages to beat his man but goes down to the floor. Advantage has been given as Jr. continues. Pass inside now to Valverde, who's under pressure from Kevin De Bruyne, who eventually goes all the way back to Rudiger and now to Carvajal as Jack Grealish goes in with the challenge and concedes a free kick. As Carvajal goes down under the challenge of Jack Grealish. He's holding on to his ankle as Grealish goes across to make sure that he's okay. Just looks like he may have caught him a little bit late as Carvajal tried to dribble the ball out of defence. Carvajal is back up to take the free kick. As we're now reaching the hour mark, Fernandes gets the ball from the free kick just outside the area across to Mendy. And then the pressure from Silva. Goes all the way back to his goalkeeper inside the 6-yard box. Lunen's clearance, he was closed down by Haaland, back onto the right hand side. Headed back inside this time for Carvajal, who's making a run to Manchester City's half. He has got Vinicius Jr. He's gone down under the challenge, and a free kick is going to be given, and a yellow card is now going to be given to Jack Grealish. As Carvajal was making his way into Manchester City's half with quite a bit of confidence. He'd got a couple of options available, and Grealish's challenge, the referee feels, is worthy of at least a yellow card. And in a very dangerous position, Real Madrid have a free kick inside City's half. Let's say this is around about 30 yards out, 28 to 30 yards out. Goals have been scored from here and further out from set pieces before, and Toni Kroos has been present in a lot of those in La Liga. Will be able to contribute to another one here as players make their way into the box. Cross comes in from Kroos, headed back into the area, cleared by Erling Haaland onto the edge of the area and cleared eventually by Bernardo Silva, as now Kevin De Bruyne starts his close down on Rudiger. Pass back onto the right hand side for Valverde. This pass goes onto the right hand side now for Carvajal. He gets the ball back, but eventually goes down into the challenge from Rodri, who unleashes Kevin De Bruyne on the left hand side. He's up against Mendy at the moment. Kevin De Bruyne brings it inside, gets past 3 Real Madrid players, but eventually when Rodri takes the ball off of him, possession is given back to Madrid. All too cheaply from Man City while they had an opportunity, but they get it back pretty quickly as well with Kyle Walker onto the edge of the area now for Guardiola. Gives it to Haaland. It falls nicely for Foden. His effort's been blocked and it's going to be a throw into City on the left hand side, deep inside Madrid's half. Madrid had that chance, they had that break, and City now back into the ascendancy. Someone's taken short for Guardiola. Now to Kevin De Bruyne. And back to Grealish. Grealish's challenge has been blocked by Bellingham, who's chasing this down the right hand side, and Bellingham has gone down under the challenge, and we are going to see another yellow card. This one's gone to Josko Vardiol. There's been a run made down that right hand side by Jude Bellingham. It was a very late challenge, and it looks very close, like Vardiol may have even managed to get a touch on the ball whilst catching Bellingham, but the issue he's got when the ball's going to go with that such velocity into the opposition half. The player's going to go down holding on to the ankle. There's always going to be them questions asked. On this occasion it's considered the sign of free kick. Inside Real Madrid's half. Only just inside Real Madrid's half. Not equal with the centre circle on that side. And while that's the case, Manchester City have no players any further back than the centre circle inside their own half. Which means Real Madrid can't really put that long ball forward for the press. They had to go back to the goalkeeper, and now Mendy gets it on the left hand side. He's closed down by Bernardo Silva. Pass inside to Camavinga. Gets ahead of Rodri, goes down into the challenge this time, and now there's a free kick to Real Madrid closer to the halfway line. As Camavinga goes down into the challenge. Madrid again will just take the time with the ball. 61% possession for Manchester City so far in this first half. In this game, sorry. Cruz gets the ball back and goes across to Fernandes. Now to Rudiger. Looks out onto the right hand side for Valverde, but it's going to be an overpass. It's going out of play. Throw-in taken by Vardiol, goes all the way back to Ruben Diaz, now to Manuel Akanji. And he goes back to Diaz again, and now back to Ederson. Just inside the area at the moment. Ederson now onto the left hand side. Finds Vardiol. And back to Ruben Diaz. And back to Ederson again inside the 6-yard box. Pass goes to Rodri, who's come short as an option on the edge of the area. He gets the ball and has space to move into. Gives the ball now to Foden. Across to Kevin De Bruyne. Inside to Real Madrid's half. Back onto the right hand side now for Bernardo Silva. Takes this into the area. Puts it onto his left foot. Lays it up to the edge of the area. Foden's touch is too heavy. And the clearance has been made by Carvajal. And it's winded the referee as it's taken a hit off the referee's stomach. We'll just have a minute before he gets things back underway. Manchester City were saying that the ball was going to be theirs as they were making the run onto the ball, but after referee's intervention, I think possession is going to go back to Real Madrid. Still puts them under pressure. It's just outside their area with Joe Fernandes. Erling Haaland is quick there as well. The ball has been dropped very quickly. Goes back to Luton again. Luton's on pass onto the right hand side for Carvajal. Looks for Jude Bellingham. Goes down again under the challenge of Vardiol, but wins a throw in. Inside Manchester City's half at the moment. Now throw-in is to be taken by Carvajal. Down the line for Valverde. Quick into the challenges. Rodri. It gets to Ruben Diaz. He's beaten out to the ball though by Bellingham. Bellingham's touch is too heavy and it's intercepted by Vardiol again. Now to Akanji. Into the middle of the park. Akanji takes the ball into the centre circle. Over to the right hand side now for Bernardo Silva. Has an overlapping run for Kyle Walker. Now to Manuel Akanji again. Akanji across to Bernardo Silva. By the touchline, Manchester City deep inside Real Madrid's half. Just outside the area, goes back to Kyle Walker. He's forced to go further back to Ruben Diaz. Now across to Vardiol. Vardiol's got space to move into. Gives it to Jack Grealish. Again back on the left hand side with Carvajal alongside him. Onto his right foot, gives it central to Rodri. Rodri now to Kyle Walker. First touch, drops it back to Ruben Diaz. Now to Rodri again. Across to Kyle Walker. Again to Ruben Diaz. Now to Foden. Akanji. Now to Rodri. Finds Gvardiol in space. Excellent ball from him to Foden inside the area. Foden finds Grealish just outside the area at the moment. Takes it into the area himself. Gives it to Rodri. On the edge of the area again. Now across to Bernardo Silva. On the right hand side. He's got Kyle Walker still as support. Has to go back to Kyle Walker, who goes back to Ruben Diaz. And just when Manchester City thought they'd found their way through, Real Madrid closed those gates again. Rodri now. Over to the right hand side. It's gone to Kevin De Bruyne, whose cross goes out of play for a goal kick at the near post. Catches the side netting. It's going to be a goal kick to Real Madrid. And Andre Lunin will be the one that goes across to take this again. So it goes to Diaz, and Manchester City get the ball back again. Now to Kyle Walker and to Rodri. Rodri advances further with the ball and gives it to Bernardo Silva. Silva back to Walker. And then central to Akanji. Akanji back to Walker again. And on the right hand side for Bernardo Silva. Brings it back onto his left foot. Looks for the overlapping run of De Bruyne, but it's too heavy a pass. It's out of play for a goal kick. And again, Lunin takes his time to put the ball down. Take another goal kick. In the first half, he wasn't the one taking the goal kicks. I'm not sure quite what the decision there was, but he's opted to do so more so in the second half, and he was taking some free kicks from outside the area towards the latter stages of the first half. This time the goal kick amounts to nothing again, but Manchester City keep themselves under pressure by going back to Ederson. Now to Akanji. Vinicius Jr. continues chasing the ball, but Man City find their way out as Gvardiol takes the ball into Real Madrid's half. Now inside to Akanji. Akanji's got space to move into. Now to Rodri. Rodri outside the area, onto the right hand side now for Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva back to Kevin De Bruyne. Cross goes in towards the back post for Jack Grealish. Headed away by Carvajal. Back onto the edge of the area by Gvardiol. Now across to Kevin De Bruyne again. To the left hand side for Gvardiol. Now for Jack Grealish. To Akanji. Akanji looks for Foden. It's been cleared by Rudiger, and it's out for a throw in on the left hand side. Equal with the goalkeeper's area now for Man City. Taken quickly by Grealish to Gvardiol. Now to Ruben Diaz. Now Akanji. Back to Gvardiol again. Gvardiol gives it to Ruben Diaz again and gets the ball back on the edge of the area. Looks for Jack Grealish down the line. He's still closed down by Valverde. Foden in the middle. Kevin De Bruyne lurking as well, as goes a bit too heavy of the touch, and Bellingham gets there first, puts it out of play for a throw-in, which City will look to take quickly as Bellingham's quick back to his feet, taken by Gvardiol to Akanji. Back to Gvardiol again. And the line on the left hand side gives it to Akanji, inside to Jack Grealish. I just didn't quite make it, but Foden's there to pick up the pieces. Now to Kevin De Bruyne again. Beats Camavinga. Goes into the challenge this time with Bellingham. Keeps the ball as well on that left hand side. Kevin De Bruyne's done well alongside Bellingham and Camavinga. Gets the ball back now to Akanji. And to Ruben Diaz. Now to Gvardiol. Back to Akanji again. Now to Kevin De Bruyne, who looks to have kept himself onside. Cross goes in. It's been blocked. It's a corner to Manchester City again. Their 13th corner of the afternoon. An in-swinging corner from Kevin De Bruyne. Coming short for the option again is Phil Foden. Diaz is in there. Haaland. Rodri again. Diaz stood on the goalkeeper as it goes in towards the near post. Gvardiol gets there first. It's kept in play by Diaz, or so he thought, and it's going to be given as a goal kick now to Real Madrid. Thought of the cross near the near post, not something that you usually see along the floor from Kevin De Bruyne. It was quite a weak pass, but I'm not sure that is a goal kick, to be fair. I'm not sure the entire of the ball crossed the line. that was going across the line for a goal, it wouldn't have been given. It's going to be a goal kick again taken by Luton. Waste a bit more time as we head up towards the 70-minute mark, and Manchester City are preparing their first change of the afternoon. The goal kick is headed down by Kyle Walker to Rodri. Through ball from him finds Jack Grealish inside the area on the left hand side, brings it onto his right foot, sends it goalwards. It's been parried, but Foden can't quite get there as Luton picks up the pieces on the second attempt. That's better from Manchester City. They're finding those gaps, they're starting to utilise them a bit more. Luton just took the sting out of the shot the first time around. Now Bellingham gets the ball onto the left hand side for Rodrigo, closed down by Walker, goes back to Mendy and then Cruz. Now Bellingham again. Vinicius Junior making his way back from an offside position as Camavinga gets the ball inside the centre circle. Over to Carvajal on the right hand side. Now Rudiger back to Carvajal again. Looks for that run down the line of Valverde. He's found himself in space. Into the middle it goes towards Vinicius Junior, but it's out and claimed by Ederson. Vinicius Junior had the run on his marker again, and it was almost a second chance for Real Madrid. It's rolled out quickly now to Walker. He gives it across to Rodri. Takes it ball into Real Madrid's half. Now to Vardiol. Vardiol goes to Akanji inside the centre circle. Akanji back across to Vardiol again. Now to Rodri. Rodri advances further forward, goes for the pass to Phil Foden, but it's blocked out by Rudiger, and it gets again to Vinicius Junior, who's gone down under the challenge this time of Akanji and concedes a free kick inside his own half. As now we'll see that first change for Manchester City, and it is going to be the introduction into the game for Jeremy Doku, and he is going to be on to replace Jack Grealish. That is the first change of the afternoon. Real Madrid yet to make one. Doku just continues on that left hand side. Like for like change made by Guardiola. Free kick is taken by Madrid. It's a ball forward to Jude Bellingham that's gone all the way through to Josko Vardiol. And Manchester City once again get possession back. Now Akanji gets the ball onto the left hand side for Doku. Doku brings it down in space. He's eventually joined by Valverde and Carvajal. He tries to dribble in between the two of them, but he's stopped in his tracks, and eventually the line will be cleared by Valverde, who's managed to find Vinicius Junior, who's got himself in between a gap between Kyle Walker and Ruben Diaz. Turns on the ball and it leaves Kyle Walker on the floor as he now gives it to Mendy. Inside Man City's half at the moment, Mendy takes it back inside his own, goes all the way back to Fernandes, and then back to his goalkeeper. I think Real Madrid at the moment are just happy to keep possession for as long as they can before they have to give possession back over to Manchester City, as Doku this time wins possession back from Carvajal on the left hand side. He has got players available for support, manages to find Foden. Foden's cross goes in towards Haaland, it's too heavy, it's going to go all the way through to Rodrigo on the left hand side. Rodrigo goes back this time for Toni Kroos. Is it more central, headed down by Valverde, who goes in for the second challenge and misses the ball completely. Ruben Diaz gets it back and Phil Foden can advance. Puts the ball onto the right hand side now for Bernardo Silva. Brings it in for his favoured left foot. Quick 1-2 between him and Rodri. Back inside now for Akanji. Akanji across to Vardiol. Now to Jeremy Doku on the left hand side. Takes it closer to the edge of the area and gives it to Vardiol again. Now again to Rodri. Back onto the right hand side for Silva, who's inside the area at the moment. Silva looks for Foden. Pass is too heavy. Silva gets it back. Now to Rodri. Rodri chips it over onto the back post now for Doku. Lets it run outside the area, but looks to attack Carvajal. His effort's been blocked by Carvajal though, and it's fallen to Kevin De Bruyne on the edge of the area again. Now back to Rodri. Wants to go across to Ruben Diaz. He has to go back slightly though and gives it to Bernardo Silva on the right hand side. Silva's pass goes into the box. It's now with Akanji. Back to Silva. Silva still inside the area. His cross has been blocked. Now to play for a throw into Man City on the right hand side. Real Madrid defending for their lives, defending in numbers at the moment, as Akanji goes across to take the throw in. Bernardo Silva throws this short to Ruben Diaz. And to Kyle Walker. And back to Rodri, and then back to Walker again, and Vardiol. And then back to Walker. Walker across to Diaz. Diaz now by the touchline managed to find Bernardo Silva. So it goes back central to Kyle Walker again. 30 yards out at the moment, back to Bernardo Silva. And Rodri by the touchline. Brings it in. To Walker again. We're entering into the last 15 minutes of regular time. Phil Foden gets the ball on the edge of the area. Gives it to Rodri. Rodri switches this across to Doku. Doku's first touch brings it down nicely. He's up against Valverde though, as he takes it into the area and tries to beat his man across the face of goal. It's fallen to De Bruyne, who's put it into the back of the goal, and Manchester City have finally found their breakthrough. A ball over to Doku, who's dribbled it past Carvajal. Since he's come on, he's been lethal down that left-hand side, taking the ball straight to the Real Madrid fullback. Carvajal has struggled to handle him so far, and as he played the ball across the face of goal, the clearance from Rudiger fell straight to the feet of Kevin De Bruyne, who managed to put it into the top corner from a very close range. Luton couldn't quite get out quick enough to close the angle down, and Manchester City, for all their hard work, for all their effort, are finally back on level terms. As we enter into these final 15 minutes, a very crucial 15 minutes for the two sides that are desperate to prove a point in Europe. City, of course, looking for an unprecedented back-to-back treble. Real Madrid looking for a double of their own. And it's Kevin De Bruyne that draws things level. It'll be Real Madrid to get things back underway for us again. All that hard work, all that defensive effort from the visitors being pulled to pieces. Goes back now to Carvajal. Goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. Now to the left hand side for Mendy. Now Fernandes. Back to Mendy. How much does this change Real Madrid's game plan? So far since scoring that goal, they've sat back, invited the pressure, and hoped Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. can really do all the work on the other side of the field. It's now going to be a throw-in for Madrid on the left-hand side, to be taken by Mendy as Real Madrid prepare for a substitution of their own, and it's going to be Luka Modric that will eventually come on. A game changer in his own right, of course a former Ballon d'Or winner. Kanji goes back to Rodri. Now to Ruben Diaz inside the centre circle. Across to Kyle Walker. Now to Akanji. Kevin De Bruyne. Now across to Bernardo Silva. Manchester City are playing with fluidity. They're playing with much more confidence than they did 5 minutes ago. Now Diaz chips the ball over to Vardiol. He's got Doku alongside him. Doku continues the overlap as Vardiol holds the ball up. Gives it to Jeremy Doku. Alongside Carvajal at the moment, goes at him again, puts it onto his right foot on the edge of the area, gives it to Akanji. Akanji's ball across now to Kevin De Bruyne, onto his left foot. His left foot goes goalwards and it's skimmed the top of the crossbar on its way over. And it's going to be a goal kick to Real Madrid. But this is the confidence that we expect to see from a Manchester City side. It actually looks like it's been pushed over on its way through by Luton. The replay showing that. Manchester City are wanting a corner, but the goal kick has been given. The replay has since shown otherwise. And we will now see Luka Modric join the game. Just waiting for confirmation as to who it is that is going to be leaving. As the board goes up, we'll get confirmation who makes way for Croatian international. It is going to be experience for experience as Toni Kroos leaves the field. And that's now one change aside made, and Luka Modric will come into the game and just shore things up in that midfield for Real Madrid. 4-4 on aggregate, 1-1 on the night. We enter into the last 11 minutes of this game. Both of these sides not willing to give an inch defensively. We'll get the goal kick from Luton back underway. Out onto the right hand side, he looks for Valverde again. It's won this time by Doku, who Looks to dribble it past multiple Real Madrid players and eventually wins himself a free kick just inside Real Madrid's half. Been a thorn in the side of Real Madrid since coming on. He's really doing exactly what Pep Guardiola put him on the field to do, and that is run at Carvajal, take the ball past him. He's done that quite effectively so far as Akanji gets the ball inside the centre circle. Goes back now to Ruben Diaz again. Still inside Real Madrid's half. Back to Akanji, back to Ruben Diaz again. Diaz now for Vardiol. Vardiol turns on the ball past Bellingham. It was very dangerous from him, but it's paid off. Looks to get the ball on the left hand side, but Modric gets to it first. Looks for Bellingham, but go all the way through to Kyle Walker. His pass now to Rodri. Finds Kevin De Bruyne. Back again to Kyle Walker and back to Kevin De Bruyne again. His through ball looks for Erling Haaland, but it's cleared by Fernandes before it gets there. So a wonderful ball from Kevin De Bruyne, and it's taken quickly as the throw in. Back to De Bruyne again. Down to the right hand side for Silva. And then De Bruyne finds Akanji inside the area. Flag has stayed down for now as Rodri gets the ball on the edge of the area. It's back to Bernardo Silva. Silva back to Rodri again. Rodri's pass across finds Ruben Diaz. Diaz to Doku on the left hand side. Doku brings it in onto his right foot again. Finds the overlapping run from Akanji. Akanji sends it across the face of goal, and Kevin De Bruyne from around about 12 yards out sends the ball into the stands. Everything was set on a plate for him. Doku with excellent hold up play this time, and Akanji's ball across fell comfortably to De Bruyne, who couldn't keep his effort down. Seen him score those before. But City continue in the ascendancy, building on the momentum they've built throughout the course of this game, going from stride to stride, step to step. Try and get past this Real Madrid defence. This goal kick again has been won by a Manchester City player. This time it's Diaz. Headed back down to Haaland, but it's been cleared by Carvajal first. His clearance is chested down by Walker to Akanji. Akanji finds Bernardo Silva. Pass inside goes to Rodri. Into Ruben Diaz. Takes it into the opposition half outside the centre circle at the moment. Diaz goes back to Rodri again. Chips this ball over onto the right hand side for Bernardo Silva. Takes the bounce, but he keeps possession with himself. Gives the ball to Ruben Diaz again. And now to Rodri. Rodri's ball out wide again, this time for Bernardo Silva. On the edge of the area, goes back to Kevin De Bruyne. And again to Walker. Now to Diaz, finds Doku on the left hand side in plenty of space. Valverde and Carvajal now slowly making their way there as Phil Foden was pointing to where he wanted the ball. Doku played it, but he played it too forcefully. It's gone out of play for a goal kick again to Real Madrid. Arsenal also losing by a goal to nil as it stands at the moment. Their match up against Bayern Munich. As the second change for Real Madrid looks to be on its way. It's going to be Brahim Diaz that comes on. And he'll be coming on for Rodrigo, who has been tireless in attack. Very much kept that Manchester City defence under a lot of pressure, despite the fact that City have been in the ascendancy for the majority of this game. He's trying to utilise those channels, find himself some space, and Brahim Diaz will assumably take that position and do the same again. He's going to sit just behind Bellingham, who then moves into the striker's role. This goal kick again is won by Ruben Diaz. Now it's for Doku, who runs down the left hand side, goes down under the challenge and wins a free kick inside Real Madrid's half under the challenge of Camavinga. And across to take it is Vardiol. Now to Akanji. Akanji's pass inside to Rodri. Rodri's got space to move into, but his channels again being cut out. Vardiol gives it back to Diaz. Again inside to Akanji. Now back to Diaz again. Diaz has to go over to Kyle Walker. Walker inside the centre circle, back to Ruben Diaz. Now to Vardiol and Rodri. Rodri looks for Doku down the left hand side. Can he keep it in play? He has, but he's lost his footing. Still managed to keep possession, but he couldn't capitalise on Carvajal missing out. The ball is switched over onto the right hand side now for Bernardo Silva, who brings it inside for De Bruyne. Touch is too heavy. Madrid clear the lines again, but it's onto the left hand side for Brahim Diaz, who climbs onto the back of Bernardo Silva, who gets possession off him, and Brahim Diaz will concede a free kick. In a dangerous position for Manchester City as Haaland makes his way into the area. Ramsey just looking for options available as Diaz is making his way into the area. Was for a moment Manchester City not sure whether they were going to put the ball into the box or just play possession football. They've opted to go with it in possession. Goes to Rodri and now to Walker. Gives it back to Akanji, goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. Ederson quite far out of his area at the moment to get the ball. Wonderful pass from Ederson, finds Foden. Foden now for Doku, just outside the area. Looks to beat Carvajal again, takes it into the area on that left hand side. Carvajal is still alongside him. Looks like he was holding on to him slightly, but Doku gets possession, gives it to Kevin De Bruyne on the edge of the area. Now across to Bernardo Silva on the right hand side. Silva's got Mendy with him. Silva brings it onto his left button, switches this across again to Vardiol. Goes all the way through to Jeremy Doku. Goes back again to Rodri. Manchester City still with the ball inside Madrid's half. As it goes to Vardiol, takes it into the area. He's got Doku for support. Gives the ball back to Doku. And again back to Rodri. And now to Kyle Walker. Man City still patient, trying to find the way back through. It's worked eventually for them. Rodri goes across now to Vardiol. Vardiol finds Akanji. Now to Foden. Foden finds... Now to Rodri, across to Diaz. Then to Walker. Back to Rodri again. And then Walker. Onto the left hand side for Doku. Flag stays down, despite Real Madrid's claims. Doku again up against Carvajal. Looks for the run into the box there. That has been made by Akanji. Brings this back for Foden. Can't quite get there in time. It's been cleared by Carvajal, and it's another Manchester City corner. Their 14th of the afternoon. De Bruyne goes across to take this again. It's going to be another in-swinger. This time Doku's lurking on the edge of the area. Kanji makes his way into the area as well. Vardiol still has pressure for Luton. De Bruyne prepares for the corner. Goes in towards the back post. It finds Erling Haaland, who just can't direct it on target, and it goes into the side netting. Real Madrid have another goal kick into the final 3 minutes of regular time now. Haaland's effort looked like it could have well been going goalwards, but Bellingham got a touch to it first to knock it out of the way of Haaland. He must have caught it wrong on the top of his head. Luton takes the goal kick. 2 minutes of regular time left to go, plus whatever added time is given. Headed away by Rodri in the direction of Mendy on the left hand side. Takes a touch to bring possession down, and then clears it out of play for a throw-in for Manchester City. Guardiola urging his side for more of a press, to get the ball back quickly, to create something, to weave some magic to get themselves out of the potential of extra time. It's the last thing they need with an FA Cup semi-final at the weekend, and a tough run-in, should we say, for the end of the Premier League battle. As Doku gets the ball on the left hand side again, closed down by Carvajal, wins a free kick inside his own half. Quickly taken to Diaz, then gets the ball back, takes it into Real Madrid's half. He's got Vardiol alongside him again, goes to Rodri more central. Rodri's got space to move into, and will do so to take it into Real Madrid's half quite comfortably. And then goes back to give the ball to Ruben Diaz, now to Akanji, who can turn on the ball. Akanji onto the left hand side for Doku. Doku takes it into the area alongside Carvajal, tries to beat multiple players, but eventually Camavinga will get there to clear the lines. And now there's a chance for Diaz, as Brahim Diaz is brought down to the floor. Free kick's going to be given inside Real Madrid's half, inside the centre circle, and a yellow card's going to be given to Rodri as well, who pulled on the shirt of the Real Madrid substitute. He was starting to create a breakaway himself. Nice little flick from Vinicius Jr. Give him the breakaway. And the free kick has been taken short, but Modric's been told he's got to take it again, so we'll take it from the centre circle onto the right hand side again. Finds Carvajal, back to Modric. Modric's chip ball forward is watched out of play. The linesman saying it came off the head of Guardiola, and it's going to be a throw in to Real Madrid. On the right hand side, Carvajal comes along to take it. 4 minutes of extra time will be played. If scores are still level, we will go to 30 minutes of extra time. If we can't decide a winner then, we've got a penalty shootout on our hands. Ball forward by Mendy. Kanji will get there first and clear his lines. Headed away this time by Fernandez, and it's back in the direction of Vinicius Jr. The flag has stayed down as Jr. takes it towards the corner flag, and now the flag goes up for offside as soon as the attack had run dry. Free kick taken quickly from Akanji to Rodri. Rodri looks for Doku on the left hand side. He's not managed to get there the first time, but he will get there the second time with support from Guardiola. Manages to beat Carvajal this time, and a free kick has been given in favour of Real Madrid as Carvajal's gone down holding his face. Doku's quite surprised as Doku caught Guardiola with his arm just into the chin of the Real Madrid fullback, who has been at the wars throughout the course of this game. Had a bit of a battle throughout the first half with Jack Grealish, and is starting to do so now with Doku. He's found it very tough to handle him since joining the game. Carvajal will take this free kick from inside his own half. Not too many short options for him. It's going to have to be the long pass into Manchester City's half that finds Bellingham. Out onto the right hand side for Valverde. Now back to Bellingham. Bellingham's cross goes into the hands of Ederson, who's quick to get the ball back out. Rolls it out this time to Rodri. Rodri's got space to move into, takes it into Real Madrid's half to give it to Foden. Foden's pass inside now for Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne looks for Doku. Carvajal misses the ball and it gets to Doku on the left hand side. He's got players there for support, takes it to the edge of the area. Gives the ball back now to Rodri. Rodri puts a left footed effort goalwards, and it's just trickled into the arms of Lunin. It's a very weak effort that may have even seemed more like a pass through to Erling Haaland, who wasn't aware. Lunin holds onto the ball inside the 6 yard box. This time it's a drop kick from him in the direction of Brahim Diaz. It's headed away by Walker to Bernardo Silva, but Diaz is there to win it again. That's inside to Camavinga. Now onto the left hand side for Mendy. Finds the run again, this time of Vinicius Jr., who's up against Akanji. Doubles it back inside, turns it back into Akanji, but loses out on possession, and it's given to Bernardo Silva, and Walker will eventually clear the lines. Haaland will try and hold this up. He's up against Fernandez, gives it to Kevin De Bruyne, who switches play onto the left hand side in search of Doku, up against Carvajal at the moment, but it's too much on it, and it's out of play for a throw in on the right hand side for Real Madrid. As time is running out for both of these sides to take a winner in regular time. We may well be going to extra time as Carvajal goes across to take the throw in. We'll have the referee just urging things on for Real Madrid, who seem more than comfortable whilst under the pressure to be able to take things into extra time, as Carvajal's throw towards Bellingham has been cleared by Diaz. Headed down by Camavinga now for Mendy. Mendy onto the left hand side. Walker's alert to it, and Walker goes down under the challenge of Mendy. City wants a free kick. Now Real Madrid wants a free kick as well for a challenge this time by, I think a free kick's actually been given to Manchester City. It wasn't originally given, and play was continued, which is why the challenge went in shortly after onto Vinicius Jr. And the referees then pulled it back for a free kick to Manchester City and booked Ferland Mendy in the process as well. So just inside Real Madrid's half, Manchester City have themselves a free kick. And Pep Guardiola is telling everyone to push forward for this. It's likely to be the last chance for Manchester City, with Bernardo Silva stood over it. Pass inside this time. Finds Rodri into the area for Kevin De Bruyne. Can he get the cross in? It's been blocked. It's a corner now to Man City. Their 15th corner of the game so far. And can Manchester City take a win in the dying embers of this game? Can they get it over the line at home to a Real Madrid side that haven't won here in the Champions League before? Kevin De Bruyne goes across to take an out-swinging corner. It's Diaz, Rodri, Haaland, Akanji, Guardiola. They're all inside the area at the moment. All being told something by Rodri. On the edge of the area, still lurking multiple City players. Bernardo Silva now makes his way into the area as Phil Foden's a short option. Bruyne's cross goes in this time. It's towards the back post. It's fallen to Haaland, who can't keep it down. And it's landed on the top of the net. And I think that's all we are going to see of this game. We are now going to go to extra time between Manchester City and Real Madrid, where it's finished at the Etihad Stadium. City at the Etihad Stadium. City separate these two sides. We will go to a penalty shootout to determine who will go through to the Champions League semi-final and take on Bayern Munich, who have beaten Arsenal in regular time. Just looking at any changes that might be made heading into the first of those 15-minute halves. And on the whistle of the referee, we'll get things back underway for us. And Phil Foden stood over the ball at the moment, ready to get things underway, and he passes immediately back to Rodri. Inside the centre circle, goes across now to Samuel Akanji. Back to Diaz. And now Akanji again. Akanji twisted on the ball alongside Vinicius Jr. Gives the ball now to Kyle Walker. Finds Kevin De Bruyne down the line. Manages to go all the way back to Kyle Walker again. Goes back to his goalkeeper. And now a free kick has been given. I think a free kick's been given just outside the area. The referee has pulled a stop to things as Bellingham's gone down on his face, and we've got the physio being called on at the moment. Not quite sure just what's happened there. He's gone into a challenge with Ruben Diaz. And Ruben Diaz looks like as Bellingham's making a run forward, Diaz has just stopped and ran straight into him and then put his arm up as if it's innocent, but Bellingham hasn't moved since he's gone down to the floor. Well, City did make a change at full time, and that is the departure of Erling Haaland out of the game. Quite a surprise to many people, thinking they're heading into a penalty shootout, but Julian Alvarez, a bit more energetic than the 90-minute played Haaland, will be coming on in his place. So the lineups, just whilst things are checked upon with Jude Bellingham, is Ederson in goal, Walker, Diaz, Akanji, Vardial as the back four, with Rodri and De Bruyne as the two holding midfielders. Doku out on the left, Silva out on the right, and Foden playing just behind Julian Alvarez. And for Real Madrid, it's Lunin in goal, Carvajal, Fernandes, Rudiger and Mendy as the back four, with Valverde, Camavinga and Luka Modric. And then Jude Bellingham playing behind Vinicius Jr. and Brahim Diaz. With two changes made for each side as Jude Bellingham is back to his feet. And he's back on the sideline with the physio, and after a couple of checks he is going to be able to continue as the ball is rolled out by Ederson to Ruben Diaz. Gives the ball to Rodri. Now to Akanji. Akanji looks to take the ball deep inside Real Madrid's half. Goes across now to Vardiol. Now down to Doku on the left hand side. Doku's got multiple players alongside him. Carvajal is of course one of those. Been up against him quite a bit and brings it onto his left foot. Plays it across the face of goal. Nobody there to gamble for Manchester City. Bernardo Silva has a job to keep that in play. He manages to do so and keeps possession with Manchester City. He's slid in just to keep it in play on the right hand side, and Rodri gets the ball back. Now to Kevin De Bruyne. Now Kyle Walker to Bernardo Silva. Silva's passed back inside to Akanji. And back to Silva. He gets the ball back by the touchline. Akanji is playing more of an attacking midfield role at the moment. He keeps pushing forward, but at the minute with City in such a control of the game, I expect plenty of players to be trying to push forward and put Real Madrid under this pressure as Doku gets it on the left hand side, takes it into the area, takes the ball past Valverde. He's up against Carvajal again, dribbles the ball around him but keeps the ball very close to his feet, just keeps it in play. Goes back to Vardiol eventually, back to Rodri. Carvajal seems to have figured out a way of keeping Doku quiet. Just how long that'll last for before the City player may even create something himself. Akanji again on the edge of the area, back to Bernardo Silva. Now to Rodri, takes it into the area, he's closed down by Modric. Rodri takes it quite close to the byline and then goes all the way back to Bernardo Silva. Goes now back to Ruben Diaz, who's at the centre circle inside his own half. Man City continuing to control the game at the moment. The pass has been made to Kyle Walker. Goes back to Ruben Diaz again. Now he's passed to Walker, goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. And Ederson passes this out now to Rodri. Rodri across to Ruben Diaz. Takes it into his own area. He's under pressure there though by Vinicius Jr. and he's forced to pass this out to Walker again. Walker finds Kevin De Bruyne. His pass inside finds Bernardo Silva and back to Akanji. Takes it up towards the halfway line. Pass across to Rodri. Rodri's got Guardiola alongside him. He's also got options forward in Phil Foden, Julian Alvarez and Jeremy Doku. Now Alvarez gets the ball. Gives it to Foden. On the edge of the area. Now to Doku. Doku wasn't alert to it and he's let it run, but he's managed to get the ball before it goes out of play for a throw-in. Takes it into the area to Kevin De Bruyne. It's taken a hit. The effort from Foden's been blocked. It's nearly fallen at the back post of Bernardo Silva, but Mendy's had to put it out of play for another Manchester City corner, and the pressure stays on this Real Madrid defence. And then Kevin De Bruyne goes across to take the corner. It's going to be an out-swinging corner. Players available in the box at the moment. Centaur's making their way forward for City as he sends it back in towards the middle, headed away. Still inside the area at the moment as the ball continues to be bouncing about. Brought down on the edge of the area by Akanji. Effort by Bernardo Silva has been blocked and it's fallen now onto the left-hand side for Doku. Doku's given the ball now to Alvarez. Alvarez on the edge of the area. Goes back again to Doku. Still got Alvarez alongside him. Goes back to Guardiola this time though, and then back to Alvarez again on the left-hand side. Doku's come back short for him, and Real Madrid are starting to press a bit higher as Guardiola gets the ball. Gives it past Jude Bellingham and then gives it back to Doku again, who goes back all the way to Ruben Diaz. There's now to Kyle Walker. Walker across to Kevin De Bruyne. And back to Walker again. Walker's pass inside to Doku. Leaves it with Akanji. Now onto the right hand side for Bernardo Silva again. Finds the overlapping run of Kevin De Bruyne. Can he get across it? It's been blocked. It's fallen to Akanji, who looks to get the ball to the back post. Can't quite find anybody though, and it's gone all the way through to the hands of Luton, who's out to claim it at the feet of Fernandez. There's a good ball over the top though by Akanji, who just stretched his right foot out to try and chip it over to the back post, but there's no one there for Manchester City trying to gamble. Passes onto the left hand side. Mendy tries his pass forward, but it's been blocked out by De Bruyne. It's out of play for a throw inside his own half. Looking down the line, 4 options at the moment. Man City now trying to cut out all those channels. Plays it short to Camavinga. Mendy gets the ball back. In goes the challenge of Alvarez. Wants to throw in himself, but it's been given to Madrid. Some sort of position as before, just outside of being equal with the goalkeeper's area. Mendy goes across to take it again. This time he doesn't manage to beat Bernardo Silva, but it goes all the way through, and a free kick's been given against Brahim Diaz for a handball. Diaz isn't quite happy with the decision from the referee, but free kick is being given to Man City just inside Real Madrid's half, and it's disappointing for them because they were on a bit of a break and they had a good chance at that point. Kyle Walker now having to go all the way back to his goalkeeper from the free kick as Edison gets it, gives it to Rodri. Back out to Kyle Walker again. Walker finds De Bruyne down the line. The pass is too heavy though, and he gets back to Jude Bellingham. Inside to Camavinga. Pass to Vinicius Junior is intercepted by Ruben Diaz. He's gone down under the challenge, but it's been cleared by Man City. And a chance now for Kevin De Bruyne. He's got options out on the right hand side. Finds Bernardo Silva. Taken over though by Julian Alvarez, who takes it to the edge of the area. Cross goes in. It's been cleared before he can get to Foden. Only as far as the edge of the area though. Brought down again by Guardiola. Guardiola lays this off now to Akanji. Back to Diaz. Onto the left-hand side to Doku. Just as Man City start to build momentum, as soon as the ball's been cleared, they just slow things down, take the time with it again as Alvarez now gives the ball to Kevin De Bruyne. Across to Doku. Doku still on the edge of the area. Back to Alvarez, and then Bernardo Silva on the left-hand side. Got space to move into. Puts his cross into Alvarez, who scoffs at the ball. And Phil Foden gets there first and can't quite direct it goalwards. It's come off of the wrong foot. He's tried to hit it goalwards with his left foot. Completely missed the ball, and it's bounced off of his right foot and just rolled through to Luton. He found himself free. There's not going to be many chances that a Man City player can find themselves free inside the area like Foden has done. Struggled throughout the previous 98 minutes. Luton, as quickly as he's given that ball out, Man City get possession back. Alvarez now to De Bruyne, across to Bernardo Silva, takes it into the area. So we've got the overlapping run from De Bruyne. His cross goes in this time. It's headed away by Carvajal to the edge of the area. Now it's with Doku. Doku gets it inside the area. He's got Guardiola alongside him still. got multiple Madrid players alongside him, gives it to Vardiol. Sets up a pass for Rodri. Across to Kevin De Bruyne again. His pass goes in towards the direction of Phil Foden, but it's been cleared again. De Bruyne looks for Bernardo Silva, who can't get there this time. It's out of play for a throw-in on the left-hand side for Real Madrid. From inside their own area, close towards their own corner flag, as we prepare for another Real Madrid sub to happen. The line has been cleared by Mendy, and about 10 yards has been gained for another throw-in to be taken by Real Madrid, again on that left-hand side. Mendy throws it back this time to Fernandes, goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. It's closed down by Alvarez, quickly has to get it out to Rudiger, across to Carvajal. Looks down the line for Modric. Modric brings it back inside. Lovely football from Madrid, playing very dangerously at the moment, but they're linking up very nicely as Luka Modric just through ball finds Vinicius Junior. He's got options of Jude Bellingham at the back post if he can find him, but wonderful work there defensively by Kyle Walker to get ahead of Vinicius Junior, stop the pass, but also stop Junior from managing to get a shot on target. Jude Bellingham had found himself free at the back post if the pass could have been made. But Bernardo Silva now with a chance for Man City, taking it into Real Madrid's half. Continues pressing forward. Gives it now to Rodri. Escaped two challenges from Jude Bellingham. So then it goes across to Kevin De Bruyne. Now back to Rodri again. Phil Foden is an option for him. That channel's quickly been cut out as Kevin De Bruyne gives it to Vardiol. Now across to Jeremy Doku. Back on the left-hand side. Doku takes it into the area. Onto his right foot. Effort's been blocked by Rudiger. And we prepare for a 17th corner for Manchester City in this game. De Bruyne will be left to it as the next change is being made for Real Madrid, and we will see Vinicius Junior leave the field. He's down on the floor at the moment, holding on to his shins. He seems to be in a bit of pain, which may mean this is a bit more tactical and strategic that Real Madrid are making this change. He's run down the right hand side. Kyle Walker had to get very close to him, and I think it may have just done a bit for Vinicius Junior, trying to keep up with Kyle Walker, who's done very well at this stage of the game with both Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo, but Walker's got in ahead of Vinicius Junior, and he's watched that all the way through to the hands of Ederson. And Junior is now just been told to leave the field by the referee, and it is going to be Lucas Vazquez that comes on in his place. So Lucas Vazquez on, Vinicius Junior off is the next change to be made by Real Madrid as we enter into the final 3 minutes of this first half of extra time. Foden's out swinging corner goes in towards the box. Cleared away to the edge of the area. Kevin De Bruyne gets there first. Gives it to Bernardo Silva. Back to De Bruyne again and back to Bernardo Silva, who's got a chance to run towards the area this time. Bernardo Silva lays it off for Alvarez. Back to De Bruyne. Cross goes in. It's punched away. It's back to Jeremy Doku at the back post though. Just outside the area. Takes his time to put a cross in. Instead decides to dribble it. This time puts the cross in and it's held this time by Lunin, who slows things down for Real Madrid. Only momentarily though as he rolls it out quickly to Valverde, who I don't think wanted the ball. Passes it onto the left hand side for Bellingham. Challenge made this time by Bernardo Silva. A free kick has been given to Real Madrid as Bellingham is brought down to the ground. It might have been from Bellingham, it might have been from Kevin De Bruyne, but regardless, the free kick was given to Real Madrid inside their own half, and it's going to be taken by Nacho Fernandes, who goes across to take it. Plays the ball short to Valverde and gets the ball back. Now across to Rudiger. That's Carvalho on the right hand side. Carvalho's clearance down the line is chased down by excellent work in fact by Brahim Diaz to lay this ball off to Lucas. Inside out to Camavinga. Camavinga's got options on the left hand side. He has managed to find Mendy. Mendy goes back this time to Luka Modric, and Real Madrid now with the ball inside Manchester City's half. Modric just playing playmaker at the moment, collecting the ball and spreading play out as Brahim Diaz gets it on the right hand side. Diaz up against Mendy. Goes back to Carvajal. Carvajal to Modric. Modric now back to Rudiger. And then Camavinga, and back to Rudiger again. Rudiger across to Modric. Back inside Real Madrid's half now. And to the right hand side for Diaz, who's under pressure there from Vardiol. Vardiol wins possession back and gives it to Jeremy Doku, who's got space to move into on this left hand side. He's managed to beat Carvajal with the ball once. Plays it inside now for Rodri. Across another one for Kevin De Bruyne. Deep inside Real Madrid's half now, a chance for Manchester City. Bernardo Silva gets it on the edge of the area. Back to Kevin De Bruyne again. Looks further on to the right-hand side for Kyle Walker, and De Bruyne gets the ball back again for Man City. And then Kyle Walker. Looking for options in the middle. No one trying to get themselves into the area for City, all coming short for those options. Kevin De Bruyne on the right-hand side does get the ball. Gives it to Bernardo Silva, whose first touch brings it back towards his own goal. He's now under pressure from Mendy. Goes down under the challenge with Mendy. Wants a corner. A goal kick has been given, and Bernardo Silva is not happy with that decision. Feels that it should have been a corner for Manchester City, as the challenge goes in with Ferland Mendy, as 2 minutes of extra time has been given at the end of this first half of extra time. And Luton again telling Real Madrid players to make the way upfield so this goal kick can be taken. And gain some distance from his area. We'll just take the goal kick back out onto the right hand side again, this time targeting Brahim Diaz. Just keeps it in play towards Lucas, headed away this time though by Akanji. Falls to Lucas again. Now a chance once again with Jude Bellingham on the right hand side. Lucas making a run into the middle, as is Brahim Diaz, and this time Bellingham's cross has been blocked by Ruben Diaz, and we'll get the first corner of the afternoon for Real Madrid. It's going to be out on the right hand side as City are back in numbers again. Real Madrid now really starting to take the game to City. They're starting to create more into the opposition half. They seem to have struggled that since taking the 1-0 lead 12 minutes into the game. It's going to be Luka Modric that takes an out-swinging corner for Real Madrid, with players making their way forward. Carvajal's in the box, Fernandez is in the box at the moment. Going towards the middle, it's been headed away to the back post where it's fallen to Brahim Diaz. Cross goes back in, it's blocked by Bernardo Silva. It's now with Rudiger. Rudiger's cross a face of goal. It's been cleared by Akanji. Now it's with Mendy. Mendy back across to Brahim Diaz now, under pressure from Bernardo Silva. Diaz's cross goes in, it makes its way all the way through, and how has it been missed by Antonio Rudiger from around about 7 yards out? He has to hit the target, there's no question about it. He's managed to get his foot under the ball and just loft the ball over the area, over the keeper. Out of play for a goal kick, but Akanji couldn't quite get to the ball. Edison looked like he closed down the angle, making it difficult for Rudiger, but you've at least got to be hitting the target from that situation. But the half-time whistle has gone in extra time. We are 15 minutes away from a potential penalty shootout to determine the semi-finalist between Manchester City and Real Straight back to Luka Modric. We are 15 minutes away from a potential penalty shootout, whereas many know it's already a lottery at this point. Real Madrid have stood firm defensively as Manchester City have just thrown attack at the current La Liga leaders. They get themselves a throw into Manchester City on that right hand side, taken by Kevin De Bruyne in the direction of Silva. Can't quite get there, and Real Madrid clear the lines once again. It's only gone as far as Luka Modric, whose touch is too heavy, and it goes out of play for Man City, throwing around the halfway line again, and it's now with Rodri. Switches this onto the left hand side for Vardiol. At the centre circle, Vardiol gets the ball, passes it inside to Rodri. Under pressure from both Modric and Bellingham, he's had to go onto the right hand side for Kyle Walker. He goes back again to Ruben Diaz, back across again to Vardiol. Around the centre circle, Vardiol finds the pass to Rodri. Beats his man going back into his own half. Passes it now to Akanji. Akanji was looking for Jeremy Doku, wasn't making the run. Instead gives it to Phil Foden, who flicks it through for Kevin De Bruyne, who gets there ahead of Rudiger and tries for the challenge in Rudiger, who manages to clear his lines. It's not gone very far though, as it's only gone as far as Carvajal, just a couple of yards further ahead of him. And then it's gone to Valverde, and Man City get a throw in on the right hand side. It's been taken for Foden. Now to Alvarez, back to Foden again. Over to Bernardo Silva. Back central to Foden, then back to Bernardo Silva again. The urgency from that throw-in has sent Man City back into their own half as Bernardo Silva goes all the way back to Ederson, just outside the area. Ederson finds back to Bernardo Silva by the touchline on the right hand side, inside Man City's half still. Back to Ruben Diaz, across to Ederson. Ederson back to Diaz, and then Walker. Walker's got space to move into, brings it inside past Camavinga towards the halfway line, switches it over onto the left hand side for Vardiol, who's got space to take it further into Real Madrid's half. Man City once again find themselves in Madrid's half, back in familiar territory. It's where they've spent the majority of this game, as Doku makes his way into the area, tries to beat multiple players. Everett's been blocked by Carvajal. Doku's still there with the ball, but back helping out at the moment is Camavinga, and he gets the ball back. And a chance to move out from the edge of the area. Dribbles it past multiple City players and finds Brahim Diaz on the right hand side. Challenge made by Vardiol, but it's only gone as far as Carvajal. Switches the ball onto the left hand side now for Mendy. Mendy gives the ball to Bellingham inside Manchester City's half. As Foden comes back to help out, Bellingham actually gives the ball back to Luka Modric. Inside Manchester City's half. Ball across, very dangerous there to Rudiger. As Carvajal's gone down holding on to his legs. Manchester City aren't too happy with it, but regardless, Real Madrid have put the ball out of play for a throw-in. Carvajal wasn't included in any challenges, but it looks like his legs have just cramped up. Both Rudiger and Brahim Diaz are over there now, just helping him out. I think Man City's throw-in will be to give the ball straight back to Lunin. Now the physio has been called on for Dani Carvajal, who has been booked and will miss the semi-final should Real Madrid make it. Looks like he is going to be substituted as well, so another change to be made for Real Madrid. As Carvajal's got up and tried moving out, he's sat back down, and looks to be a lot of discomfort at the moment with his legs. Doesn't look like it's just an issue with cramp at the moment. It's Jeremy Doku speaking to the referee, trying to speed the process up. Of course, this could be a strategy to try and kill the momentum that Man City have created, as Carvajal is back to his feet and is starting to make his way to the sideline. He's supported by Luka Modric and the Real Madrid physios. He won't be continuing in this game, he will be leaving. The decision is who is going to come on in his place. Man City have got movement on the bench. Real Madrid have as well. And the referee's just urging Carvajal to hurry up. He can't take too long. He can't afford another booking. It would stop the substitution immediately, because it would be a red card if it fell to that. It's going to be Eder Militao that comes on in his place, so a like-for-like change at right back as well. Militao on for Danny Carvajal into the final 10 minutes as Mateo Kovacic is getting himself kitted up and ready for Manchester City. It's going to be a throw in to City with Bernardo Silva. As Militao's just been told to take his necklace off. He hands it to his manager before able to continue the game. Bernardo Silva throws the ball to Kyle Walker. Gives it inside now to Rodri. I think Real Madrid were wanting the ball back, and the run being made by Julian Alvarez. There was a potential there that Man City were going to not follow the sportsman-like route. Instead, the ball has been played all the way through to Lunin. Out short now to Militao. Header away. Finds Diaz on the right-hand side. A chance for Brahim Diaz to break into Man City's half, and he takes it into the area. Brings it back to the edge of the area. It's been cleared though by Diaz. Falls favourably, but the effort's gone over in the end by Lucas. Fell nicely to him on the edge of the area. Just couldn't quite keep it down. He had a bit of time if he needed to. And Kovacic isn't the only player that's going to be coming on for Man City. We've also got John Stones down there and ready, so Kovacic is the first change, and it looks like it's going to be Manuel Akanji that leaves the game. He's going to be one of the two. He's going to be replaced by John Stones, so potential there for another like-for-like change with John Stones sitting in at centre half. And the other one is Kevin De Bruyne that leaves the game. He's going to be replaced by Mateo Kovacic. So the last roll of the dice made. 8 minutes left, plus whatever added time comes on, and then if we can't be separated, we'll go to a penalty shootout. Free kick now just inside Manchester City's half for Real Madrid. Referee originally gave that as a free kick to Manchester City, then realised that the sides had swapped sides and just took ownership for his mistake there, as it's now a free kick to Real Madrid, and Modric has stood over the ball. Plenty of options in the box as Eder Militao makes his way in there as well. There is another one as it goes in towards the middle, head away by John Stones. Again as far as the edge of the area where it's collected by Diaz. Now to Lucas. Lucas looks for that ball back to Diaz, but out and alert to it is Ederson, who goes down and grabs the ball at the feet of the on-running Diaz. That's back inside now to John Stones, onto the left-hand side for Vardiol. Vardiol now into Real Madrid's half. Out onto the left-hand side now for Jeremy Doku. He's got Kovacic making a run to support. Doku takes it into the area, looks for Kovacic. His effort's gone goalwards. It's been blocked by Rudiger. Out of play for another corner to Manchester City. There's no Kevin De Bruyne. It might look in the direction of Phil Foden to be the taker for this, but Kovacic with his outstretched left leg manages to direct it goalwards. And Rudiger was equal to it again. Plenty of options moving forward for City again, with John Stones making his way in there. We know he can be an aerial threat. Of course, he's done it multiple times for England and for City throughout the season. Foden's out swinging, corner comes in, it's been headed away. Kyle Walker now at the halfway line, gets the ball back, gives it to Bernardo Silva. Lovely little flick from him to get it to Rodri. Cross goes in, headed away only as far as the edge of the area, whereas in goes the challenge. There goes Bernardo Silva. He's not the only one that's gone in for the challenge. He's brought Brahim Diaz to the floor. Free kick from just outside the area now to Real Madrid. No booking given. And down to the floor just on the edge of the area as he's gone in for the 50-50 challenge, as Militao gets the ball back from the free kick, gives it to Rudiger, who goes back to his goalkeeper. Lunin under pressure from Alvarez, has to clear his lines quickly. It's gone now onto the left hand side for Mendy. Mendy plays it back inside now for Fernandez. Goes back to his goalkeeper again. Alvarez again with the pressure. And the clearance has only gone as far as Stones. It's been headed back towards Alvarez. Now across to Doku. Doku takes it into the area. Keeps it onto his right foot, but the challenger Valverde wins it back for Real Madrid. Now can he get the ball away? Puts it onto the left-hand side for Camavinga. He's closed down by Bernardo Silva as Camavinga brings it inside. Goes all the way back now to Rudiger. Rudiger tries to beat multiple players, but again a tackle made by Bernardo Silva. Sam, it's gone to Doku, and Bernardo Silva gets it back, beats multiple players, then goes down under the challenge, and the referee's saying that the ball was won, and it's still with Real Madrid in possession at the moment. I've seen sometimes them given as a free kick, but the pass to Camavinga's been dispossessed. Now it's with Vardiol in a dangerous position for Man City. Gives it to Foden. Now to Alvarez on the edge of the area. Again, Real Madrid back in numbers. Winning the ball is Stones. To Silva. Onto his left foot. Now inside to Rodri. Rodri's pass has been blocked by Modric, who can't clear his lines again, and Man City's high press is keeping them deep inside Real Madrid's half. Can they stop the dreaded penalty shootout? Into the last 5 minutes as we go now. Pass inside from Doku. This time it's gone back to Bernardo Silva on the edge of the area. Silva's pass inside's been cleared. He's going to chase this down though, as is John Stones. Silva gets there first. Goes all the way back to Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker in space inside Real Madrid's half at the moment. Just leaves the centre circle. Gives it across to Kovacic. Now across to Vardiol. Back to Mateo Kovacic again. And back to Vardiol. Now to Jeremy Doku on the left hand side. Gives it to John Stones. Lurking on the edge of the area at the moment. Pass across to Phil Foden. He has got an option of Rodri if he chooses to use him. Just outside the area. Rodri gets the ball back. Cross goes into the box. Headed away by Militao. Won by the head of Ruben Diaz, but Madrid will clear the lines this time as far as Brahim Diaz. He finds Jude Bellingham on the left-hand side. Bellingham's pass across doesn't quite make it as far to his intended target, but Vardiol wins the ball and puts it out of play for a throw-in just inside Real Madrid's half. I think that pass needed a lot more from Jude Bellingham, but Vardiol's down on the floor holding his leg. To his right knee at the moment. He got there first, and it's just a collision between him and Lucas. He's back to his feet and moving again. It's just one of those where I think the impact's probably done more than any sort of long-term damage, which is good news of course for Manchester City, with fixtures coming thick and fast for them. Now pass made out by Fernandes into the left-hand side there for Mendy. Back to Fernandes again. Now onto the right hand side for Militao. And now Rudiger goes all the way back to Lunin. Lunin passes this out to Fernandes again, just outside his area. Now to Mendy by the touchline. Mendy's ball forward is going to be chased down by Fernandes. He gets there first. Fernandes continues his run inside Manchester City's half. He's hoping for support. He seems to be running on tired legs at the moment and really struggling. There's a bit of space for him to move into, but he really couldn't make advantage of that, as now the ball's played to Mendy on the left hand side. Cross goes in towards Lucas. It's been cleared though by Vardiol, only as far as Modric. Still on the right hand side. Modric catches that with the outside of his foot, and his cross goes out of play, and it's going to be a goal kick for Manchester City. Played out short now to Rodri, pretty quickly as well by Ederson. Ederson's pass on to the right hand side for Bernardo Silva. Now to Phil Foden. Foden's gone down under the challenge of Modric. He's back up to his feet very quickly though, and continues his run into Real Madrid's half. Now to Kovacic, across to John Stones. Stones beats Camavinga, who recovers well to knock the ball away from him, and a chance now for Real Madrid to break. And it's with Brahim Diaz on the left hand side. He's got Walker alongside him, dribbles it inside of him. Kovacic is back helping out. His clearance hasn't gone very far though, and it's still with Camavinga. Camavinga's pass now to Jude Bellingham. One over again now to Brahim Diaz. Bellingham's continued his run into the area. He's gone in with Stones and goes down to the floor, does the Man City player, and I think this is going to be given as a free kick to Manchester City. It is, as Bellingham's held back to his feet by Ederson, who was rushing to get there. Pass made though quickly from the free kick to Walker. Bernardo Silva's now got space to move out. Comes in inside onto his left foot. Inside his own half though, prepares for a pass across maybe onto the left hand side. He's done that now with Vardiol. He was looking for Jeremy Doku perhaps to make that run inside. He wasn't getting run from the City wingers. Now Ruben Diaz gets it into the final minute of regular time, plus any extra time that may be given. To Silva, back to Stones. Stones across to Rodri, back to Stones again. Now for Phil Foden, has space to move into. Foden continues going forward, passes it into the area for Alvarez. His effort goes goalwards, but it's saved and held by Lunin. He sent it straight at the Real Madrid goalkeeper, who dealt with it comfortably. Full-time whistle. He's only moments away Dreaded penalty shootout looms over the Etihad Stadium for Manchester City and Real Madrid. Luton will clear again. Out of play for a throw-in on the left-hand side for Manchester City, and it's going to be taken by Guardiola, who goes across to take it quickly. Throws it down to Ruben Diaz. We are in the last minute now. If there's ever a time to help your side out, to come in clutch, it is certainly now, as John Stone gets it inside the centre circle. Stones across again to Kovacic. Onto the left hand side for Guardiola. He's got Jeremy Doku, who was hoping would make a run. He didn't. He's giving it to Kovacic inside instead. Guardiola gets the ball back from him on the left hand side. His through ball's going to be chased down though by Doku, who's now under pressure by Lucas. He beats Lucas. His cross goes in and it ricochets back off him and goes out of play for a Real Madrid goal kick. And again, Lunin will take his time. It looks like Real Madrid have been searching for the penalty shootout. It's something they've had one eye on since extra time started. They've struggled to really match Manchester City for strides. But Manchester City just can't, in that final third, do what they need to do. It's a full-time whistle. It's almost upon us. And it's time for the penalty shootouts. The goal kick is taken by Lunin. As the full-time whistle goes, we at the Etihad Stadium will determine a winner to face Bayern Munich in the semi-final through the dreaded penalty shootout. It is finished. Manchester... We had 90 minutes a week ago at the Bernabéu that could not separate these two sides. We've had 120 minutes here at the Etihad Stadium that could not separate these two sides. Two giants of club football go toe-to-toe. It is finished. Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 1. On aggregate it is finished Manchester City 4, Real Madrid 4. We had an early goal from Rodrigo. We've had a late goal from Kevin De Bruyne, neither of which are on the field to take part in this penalty shootout where Manchester City will strike first, with Julian Alvarez coming on at full time to replace Erling Haaland. It's nervy for both of these sides. 120 minutes of football, and the winner will go on to face Bayern Munich in the semi-final. Both of these sides faced each other in the last 2 years in the semi-final. Neither game went to penalties then. It is Julian Alvarez up against Andre Lunin for the first penalty on the referee's whistle. Steps up to take it comfortably, puts it past the goalkeeper. He puts it right, the keeper dives the wrong way. 1-0 to City in the penalty shootout. As cool as you like it. Very confident, very cool finish. And now it is turn of Real Madrid. Get things underway for them up against Ederson. And then it's going to be the experienced head of Luka Modric. Also didn't start this game. Came on towards the latter stages of the regular time, second half. Up against Ederson to bring things level. Steps up to take it, and Ederson's gets the right way and saves it. Manchester City lead after one penalty apiece. And it's advantage to the hosts. Well saved by Ederson. It weren't a bad penalty from Luka Modric. Aiming for the bottom corner. But it's guessed right by the Brazilian goalkeeper, who steps to the side as Bernardo Silva will step up to take the second penalty for Manchester City. We just have to wait for the ball. Not quite sure what happened to the one where Luka Modric just missed the penalty, but he's currently being consoled by multiple Real Madrid players back at the halfway line. The goalkeeper is just being instructed by Daniel Osato, the referee for today's game, to stay on his line. It is Bernardo Silva up against Daniel, up against Andre Lunin. Straight down the middle, the keeper hasn't moved, and it's straight into the hands of Lunin. That's a bizarre decision from Bernardo Silva to send it straight down the middle. The goalkeeper didn't know which way to go, stuck in the middle, and it's been saved by Andre Lunin, and it's back into Real Madrid's park. It's back onto Ederson, who this time goes up against Jude Bellingham. Been quite a goal scorer for Real Madrid throughout the course of this season since signing for them in the summer. Goes up against Ederson this time to bring things level. Jude Bellingham sends the keeper the wrong way. We are level once again. City 1, Madrid 1 after two penalties apiece. Very confident into the bottom corner. Ederson went the wrong way. It's back to Manchester City, and the substitute of Mateo Kovacic was brought on for Kevin De Bruyne with 5 minutes left to go. Up against Andre Lunin. Steps up to take it. Keeper guesses the right way, and he's managed to keep it out. Real Madrid take the advantage as Manchester City missed two consecutive penalties. A weak penalty from Kovacic has kept it low, and the hand of Lunin pushed it from into the knee of Lunin and back out. And Real Madrid have the advantage, and now with a chance to bring things level. It is over to Lucas Vazquez against Ederson. In front of the Manchester City supporters. Stutters his step up, puts it into the bottom corner past Ederson. It is advantage Madrid after 3 penalties apiece. And the attention turns back to Manchester City. How costly would that penalty from Mateo Kovacic prove? It's a wonderful penalty from Lucas. Even diving the right way, I'm not sure Ederson would have got to that. Hit the inside of the netting. It's back over to Manchester City. And a chance. Phil Foden sends the keeper the wrong way. An excellent penalty by Foden. Brings it back to Manchester City 2, Real Madrid 2. And now it's back over to the attention of Ederson. Real Madrid's next penalty taker. And it will be the captain, Nacho Fernandez, who steps up with a chance to restore the visitors' advantage. Up against Ederson, who hasn't had too much to do but has been called upon throughout this game. Fernandez sends Ederson the wrong way. And it is now Real Madrid 3, Manchester City 2 after 4 penalties apiece. And it is now make or break for Manchester City. And with the pressure of the final penalty, it is going to be the Manchester City goalkeeper Ederson going up against Andre Lunin with a chance from the spot. Ederson sends it into the bottom corner. That's a well taken penalty. You don't see many penalties like that from goalkeepers. And Ederson draws things level and has a chance to go full circle and make himself a complete hero for Manchester City should he save this penalty. He was the right way by Lunin, but he couldn't get down low quick enough. And Ederson will now go up against Antonio Rudiger. If this is scored, it's Real Madrid against Bayern Munich in the semi-finals. If it's missed, we will go to sudden death. Antonio Rudiger up against Ederson. A spot in the semi-final of the Champions League is at stake. With a central run-up for Rudiger. Steps up to take it into the bottom corner, and Real Madrid head into the semi-finals of the Champions League for the 3rd consecutive year, with a chance to win back the Champions League trophy, the treble for Manchester City, the back-to-back trebles for Manchester City, should we add, is out of reach. It has taken a good 210 minutes for these two sides to be separated. It has fallen to a penalty shootout, but it can only go one way. Can only go one way. It is finished at the Etihad Stadium. 5-4 to Real Madrid on penalties, 4-4 on aggregate. It is Madrid on penalties, 4-4 on aggregate.